That was worth getting up at 8 on a Sunday for. I'll tell you that. Welcome in. We're here for the next 4 hours. We got a blizzard bearing down on us, and who cares? Because Team USA has won the gold medal in Olympic hockey for the first time, men's hockey for the first time since 1980. That's where we'll start today. It's Matt McCarthy, joined by Jake Seymour. Is this your maiden voyage, on a talk show here, Jake?
Second time. I was on filling in for Barth on Sunday kickoff a few weeks ago before the Super Bowl. So
Excellent.
Second time. Yeah, it's great.
Well, it's great to have you. Jake is an outstanding young producer here at the station. He's going to hit you with all of his knowledge. Big-time Celtics guy. He's got thoughts on Jason Tatum that we'll get to later on in the program. Thrilled to be on with you. What a day to be on. I mean, seriously. Coming off the gold medal game this morning. There's plenty to get to. Colin Kennedy is going to produce for us today. He'll be taking your phone calls at 617-779-0985. We'll open up the phone lines for you. We'll get to you early and often today in a day that it's just a fun day. There's no other way to say it. It was a hell of a game this morning. What were your primary takeaways from the game? The United States winning gold for the first time since 1980.
It was just great to see Team USA finally do it. You know, in my lifetime, this hasn't happened since the 80s. I was not alive for that. I was long before I was around. Mm-hmm. Sure, you weren't around for it either.
Nope.
So this is the first time for our generation, the last few generations of Americans, that we got to see the Americans take home the gold in hockey. And I don't think that should go under the radar. It's a point of where this country has come in the sense of developing hockey players and contending. Over the last 30 years, we know the Stanley Cup has been kept in Boston, but a lot of the players on those NHL teams are from all over the world. They're from Europe, they're from Canada, wherever the case may be. So, yeah, it's a nice kind of ode and maybe thing to throw in front of Canadians, like, haha, look at us. But still, to win the gold medal in hockey is like the end-all, be-all. It's the great prize you could have.
You know what makes it really cool? As an American sports fan, there are very few sports where we are legitimately underdogs. Canada's the best nation in the world.
Absolutely.
At hockey. And by the way, I know the U.S. won today. I actually still think Canada proved that they're the best nation in the world. They were the better team. We all watched the game, but that's what made the game so good. Canada dominated. And the United States had better goaltending. And Canada's best players ultimately came up small. And the U.S. won the game because, in many ways, a lot of their role players really did the job. But Hellebuck's the story today, undeniably so. And it is a cool experience when, again, the Americans are the best at pretty much every sport in the world, right? I mean, we're a huge country. We have, resources, population advantage over most countries when it comes to anything in sports. There's a reason why we dominate at sports. Hockey is not one of those things. I mean, we are undeniably right now the second best team in the world in hockey. If you're really doing, if you're ranking rosters based on
tiers.
Right, if you're ranking rosters based on talent, the United States is the number 2 nation in the world. And the United States had something to prove because we've never beaten Canada in a best on best, true situation like this. Olympic gold medal games, Canada has won every single one of them that has happened between the United States and Canada. The Four Nations tournament, which I know you've got a lot of thoughts on, proved, I think, last year the U.S. lost that game. By the way, that was one of the coolest sporting events I've ever been to. It was awesome. But Canada was a half step better. So the fact that they finally got over the hump and beat Canada in a gold medal game, best on best, it's something that the United States has ever done. This is a watershed moment for U.S. hockey. It's not 1980, of course. That's kids against the best team in the world at that point. I hate the comparisons. I think anybody who, draws those comparisons and posts the miracle speech, before today's game, like, you're missing the point. But what the U.S. did today, we should not ignore. This is a watershed moment for U.S. hockey, finally beating Canada in a gold medal game, best on best. They had never done it before, and they finally accomplished it today.
So I'm going to be honest right from the jump here, is that I'm not the biggest hockey guy, even though I'm born and raised in Boston, came up. Hockey was never the sport I gravitated to. I was on the edge of my seat today watching this.
Oh, it was an awesome
I was like,
game.
oh my God, look at this save. Screaming my head off. And I'm not the biggest hockey guy. So that to me is what made these tournaments great, is that people who are just casual hockey fans can sit here and watch the game and be into it and be like happy that the Team USA won and get really into it. That to me is what separates this maybe from the rest of the tournament. And I know we'll get into that a little bit later, but this to me was the best moment of the Olympics. Not even just, I would say this even if Team USA lost, because it was the only event that captivated me, and I was fully invested, glued to the TV watching it.
Hockey's had two major moments in the last year with the Four Nations tournament and, this gold medal game. And even on the women's side too. I mean, U.S. Canadian women's game was tremendous, and it always is. So, these are important moments for hockey, and I get why the NHL didn't send their players to Korea and to Beijing in 18 and 22, because this game would have. People were bitching enough about the 8 a.m. start time to begin with. Imagine if the game started at 2:30 in the morning, which is probably when it would have started if the NHL sent their players to Korea and to Beijing for the previous two Olympics. So, it had the buildup of last year's Four Nations. It hadn't happened in a long time. It's the first time they've met in the gold medal game since 2010. They met in the semifinal in 2014. That game was kind of a dud. I mean, Canada was just, still so much better than the U.S., but undeniably the U.S. has closed the gap. And they have closed the gap enough to the point where they were finally capable of winning a best-on-best gold medal game, and the goaltending was the difference. Hellebuck was unbelievable today.
That guy was a brick wall.
That's the stuff of legend today. Connor Hellebuck became a United States hockey legend in this moment.
That guy should never have to buy a beer in any bar he goes into in this country. There should just be a sign on every bar. If this man walks through, make sure he has a beer and make sure it doesn't go empty.
I don't think he's going to have to worry about that. Let me ask you this, Jake, and we'll get to you at 617-779-0985. Who was the better team today? Take away the outcome of the game.
I think Canada was the better team, flat out. I thought there were so many times like, here it comes, here's the McDavid moment, and it just felt like Canada was on the brink of doing it, and then Hellebuck just made save after save. And there were some lucky ones too that you could have looked at and said, "Oh, that one probably should have went in." Everything about this game, though, pointed to Canada winning. If you saw the stats and looked at it, and I said, "This is Team A and this is Team B. Who won this game?" You would have said Canada won it, being Team B.
So there are two parts of that story. One is Hellebuck was incredible. The second part of the story, if I'm a Canadian fan today, and if I'm particularly Nate McKinnon, I am ruining that chance that McKinnon had about 10 minutes to go in the third. Wide open net. Hellebuck was beat, and he missed. McDavid had a breakaway. Never really got a good shot off. Celebrini had a breakaway. Hellebuck stoned him on that. That top Canadian line, which it's a video game watching those guys. They've got a 5-on-3 power play. They don't score in that. They've got, two breakaways from two of their three best players. They don't score. Their third best player, McKinnon's their second best player, but McKinnon's their second best player has a wide open net. He misses it. Their top line, the Canadian top line, which again is the gold standard of hockey. The number one line for Team Canada had 13 shots in regulation and 0 goals. The Canadian their top forwards came up so small in this game. That is a defining legacy for McDavid, for McKinnon. Celebrini's young at this point, and it was just a far cry from what you saw from those players in the Four Nations final a year ago. I was there. McKinnon was the best player on the ice that night. He was unbelievable. McDavid obviously had the game-winning goal. He was great in that game. Those guys came up so small for Canada today. I think really in the end, the story here in America is Hellebuck. I think the overall story is McDavid, McKinnon, and Celebrini just coming up as small as they did.
Not to get philosophical on you, McCarthy, but doesn't this game and this outcome feel so American? The underdog story, coming in, everything against you, your back's up against the wall, and you just find a way to come out on top.
Yeah,
it feels very American dream-like.
It feels like America 250 years ago. Not now. We're the most powerful nation on planet Earth. But you're right. It's what makes this a special moment. As I said, there are very few sports where America on the international stage is a legitimate underdog. And they're close. They've closed the gap. Canada's still, a half step better. Look at that Canadian power play. McDavid, McKinnon, Celebrini, Reinhart, Makar. That is...
That's elite. That's elite.
No, they don't let that trade happen in the video game when you put that team together. Yeah. Like that in NHL 26, they block that trade. It doesn't happen. And yet Hellebuck and the Americans stone that power play 5-on-3. That's
5-on-3, not even 5-on-4, 5-on-3.
It's great. It's great. So you're right. You should feel that way, as an American sports fan. I do. There are very few opportunities to feel that way. And take advantage of it. I mean, it's not like if you win the World Baseball Classic, you're going to be like, see, America, the underdog. No, I mean, it's, Olympic basketball, it's not America, the underdog. In the vast majority of these sports, it's not America, the underdog. This is one of the few ones where it still exists, and it gets you to feel that way as a fan. This is a big deal. I mean, they have not, don't compare it to 1980, but again, they have not beaten Canada in this type of game ever in their history. And people are talking about it like it's a rivalry, and obviously it is, but I remember, Jake, my grandfather telling me this. My grandfather grew up in New York, in the era of, Gehrig, Ruth DiMaggio, that Mickey Mantle, all that. And I would talk about the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry, and he would look at me and say, son, for there to be a rivalry, both sides have to win. Which I was thinking about that going into the game today. I'm like, the United States has never, ever beaten Canada in this regard. And now they have. It's a massive deal. Massive moment for USA Hockey.
It felt very blue collar too. Like strap up the work boots, put the jeans on, go to work, and just outwork the person. That to me was the other part of it. Because, like you said, you go back to the stats and who was the better team. It was Canada. Undeniable. Absolutely. The only reason why Canada lost, you could say, is that the USA just maybe outworked them or out-toughed them out, or there was some intangible thing that Team USA had today. Maybe Hellebuck is probably the answer for that question. Yeah. But they had something that Canada didn't, and that was the key difference in this.
Well, Canada's best players gagged in the biggest moment. And I mean, I don't think the Kachucks were really anywhere to be found today. Austin Matthews, I thought, was mostly invisible in the game. Boldy's goal was just amazing. It was Hellebuck, though. It was Hellebuck. I mean, he stood on his head and won that game for them. It was a great take, undeniably. To you, early and often today, 617-779-0985. So much to get to with this game. Let's lead off with George in New Hampshire. Hey, George.
Hey, Matt, I just wanted to say, to the Canadians right now, this is the equivalent of losing Super Bowl 42. This is unprecedented ground for them. They're not used to seeing medals the color of the ground this time of year. And our savior, Connor Hellebuck, 40 for 41, looked like 2011 Tim Thomas out there. And now he has to bring a gold wet medal back to Winnipeg and shove it in their face. So congrats to our boys for the women's and the boys bringing home the gold.
Yeah, I mean, the only place you lose me there is when you say it's Super Bowl 42. The United States was not that big an underdog. This is not Patriots Giants. This is akin to the Yankees and the Red Sox finally getting past them. This is akin to Peyton Manning finally getting past the Patriots in 2006. This has been coming. This has been building for some time. I went to it was at the game last year, and they put the miracle, Herb Brooks speech, on the big screen before Team USA took the ice, and you get all fired up. Like, this is awesome. And then you look out there and you say, well, wait a minute. That first line is Eichel, Kachuk. That second line is, you've got Austin Matthews on that second line. You've got Boldy. You got Gensel. Like, that's a really good second line. Quinn Hughes is really good. Connor Hellebuck has won 3 Vezinas. So, I mean, it's not that type of upset, but it's a statement win in the sense that the United States has never, ever accomplished this before. Canada's still, they're still more talented. They're still, they still probably have a gear that the United States doesn't have, but the U.S. kept them from finding that gear today, and Hellebuck was the reason for that.
To me, the other best part about this is that it's like the hometown connections for Massachusetts. You get the UMass. How about
the Catman in Mansfield represented this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that video go viral on Twitter. They showed it on the broadcast. Eichel's from Chelmsford. That hits home to me as a Berkeley guy, like seeing someone on crosstown rival doing well. Like, all those things connect, and that to me is what makes the Olympics great. And seeing all the different perspectives from people from Massachusetts competing. I saw in the bobsled there's someone from Pembroke competing. Like, all those things. That to me is what makes the Olympics great. And then them winning and beating Canada was just a cherry on top.
How about Stephen in Falmouth? Hey, Stephen.
Hey, guys. I just can't believe that both the men and the women's teams won gold. Really, really tough game today. The Hellebuck stood on his head. He was incredible. I just wanted to echo what you just said about the Massachusetts representation, right? I was at the Greatest Bar watching the game, 8 o'clock in the morning, Johnny Hockey chants, chanting, ringing out. It was really awesome to celebrate the Gaudreau brothers today. And, may their memories be eternal. That picture, we'll see that picture forever with his kids, with the team, Just awesome stuff. I was tearing up.
I think we all were, Stephen. I mean, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house when they brought out, the Gaudreau jersey, and he was a hell of a player. He really was. So, I mean, if you want to talk about, I don't know, what I thought about in that moment, Jake, is, the United States is producing and has been for, some time now, world-class hockey players. And Johnny Gaudreau was one of them. And, of course, it's an absolute tragedy and a shame that he was killed the way that he was, and that he wasn't out there, and it was an incredible moment. But it is yet another sign of how U.S. hockey, if you want to say over the course of the last 45, 46 years, has developed into, again, a powerhouse on the world stage, and they are producing some of the best players in the world. Johnny Gaudreau certainly was one of them. And, today that is, it is the culmination of that work. It's what the sport has built towards over the course of the last 4 or 5 decades. And that was a really cool thing to get to celebrate.
Yeah, it was. And it's just the process of it all. Mm-hmm. We saw them, struggle throughout it. We didn't see the NHL players go, the previous Winter Olympics. So it was kind of, when you look at those other events, it puts a damper on it because we didn't have our best players out there. Mm-hmm. Team USA did not have that. And now finally you get to see and watch the team have the best players and how they compete it. I know maybe there's a little bit of a damper on this one because Russia wasn't in it for the, the world politics sense. So maybe that changes it. I don't know. Does that put a damper on it, I guess?
I don't think so, because I think the United States has firmly established themselves as, it is a 1 and 1A thing. And that's what today shows you. I mean, Canada's, yes, I mean, let's admit it. They are still the best nation in the world at producing, top line hockey players. But I think the United States is number 2 at this point. And I think they've proven that. And I think they've established that. Like, it's not a fluke. I mean, they were right in it. In some ways, I actually thought they played better in the Four Nations final a year ago than they did today. It's one game, but what they've proven is they are, on this level, and I think they are undeniably the second best nation in the world. They're ahead of Russia, they're ahead of Sweden, they're ahead of Finland. Like, I think if Russia were in this tournament, I mean, I guess you never say never, right? But the United States is producing better hockey players and a better hockey team than Russia is probably right now. So yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think it puts a damper on it.
No,
I
don't
feel
think
just
so
as good about this game as if Russia was in it, because maybe Russia's on the other side of the bracket, or you don't face them, or whatever the case may be. But to me, and this is the point that you brought up, is that it firmly establishes Team USA as an authority on the sport. And that's important, that now they're not just the underdog. So next year when this comes around, or next cycle in the Olympics, or whatever Four Nations is, it's not just underdog mentality. You got to defend that now.
The NHL needs to make sure that the Four Nations comes back. I think, if they look at the soccer model of the World Cup every 4 years, and then in the 2 years in between those 4 years, you get the major continental tournaments, Euro, Copa America. That's what needs to happen. The international stuff is so good for hockey. It's so good for the sport. It's been a hell of a year. From the Four Nations final a year ago to today, it's been a hell of a year for the sport and growing the sport in that regard. We'll continue with you. Couple open phone lines. Grab them. 617-779-0985. We're going to be a lot of gold medal today. How could you not be after watching that game? Just a tremendous game this morning and a watershed moment undeniably for U.S. hockey. It's Matt McCarthy, Jake Seymour hanging out until 6 o'clock tonight here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Matt McCarthy on the Sports Hub.
Join the Dark Knight for Batman Weekend with the P. Bruins coming to the Amp on February 20th and 20th.
Oh my God! I think how did that puck not go in? He made a fantastic save on that. Fantastic move.
As an aside, how did Edzo call it out straight in that moment? It's like, I think he got to stick to that. Like, unbelievable eyes from Edzo. I don't know if he got a replay before, any of us got to see it or anything like that. But I thought NBC's coverage was excellent, by the way. Tirico was great during the intermissions. I thought, Kenny Albert and Edzo and Boucher were outstanding, as Edzo always is. So the call was certainly worthy of the game, which was a tremendous experience as a sports fan. I think we are all better for having watched that game this morning. How about Frank in Los Angeles? Let's see if we can get caught it up. Hi, Frank. How you doing?
Hey, gents. Thanks for taking my call. I listen to you guys all the time. Yeah, nice lead-in, because I was calling about a couple of things. One, I set the alarm for 4:30, so thank you, USA, for winning, because rarely on the West Coast do I get bet when it comes to live sporting events, but today I had to get up early, so I appreciate the win. 2 observations, Matt, and I agree with everything you've been talking about, you guys have been talking about generally, but Matthews kind of disappointed me. He passed up a shot.
Yep.
I was getting nervous at that point in the game. He had an opportunity. He was right in front of the net. He passed it up. And I was thinking, geez, we're going to need overtime because I don't know if they can defend the lead. And I wanted to ask you guys, I know this is a little obscure, maybe this makes Madness tears, but that paddle save that you were just talking about, where is that going to rank in all-time high-pressure, high-stakes saves? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
It's one of the most iconic saves I've ever seen. That's for sure. I mean, I'm going to remember that save forever.
Yeah,
I mean, that is etched in my memory as a sports fan. And I think the real hockey folks, the folks who live, breathe, and die hockey, could probably come up with their top 5 saves of all time. But from a U.S. hockey standpoint, undeniably one of the biggest saves in the history of U.S. hockey. I mean, you could probably pick a couple of saves that Craig made on the USSR in the semifinal game in '80, but that's as big as it gets. I mean, Hellebuck had to be perfect. He couldn't just be good. He had to be perfect because the Canadians controlled this game completely, Jake. I mean, I'll be honest, I think they kind of dominated this game, which is what made it such a great watch because Canada was so good, so dominant, but they couldn't finish. And the United States just had the better goalie. Better team versus better goalie. That makes for great drama and great television.
Yeah, and not to cross sports, but it's like the better team versus the better quarterback.
Yep.
What happened? And we saw that on full display today. The thing that also stands out from this, from Hellebuck's perspective, is that it seemed like for a long time, he had no help.
Right.
It was just him. The shots were coming in. He was making the saves. And when you think about, like, every good sporting moment has a moment from that game. You go back at all the Super Bowls Patriots won, like Super Bowl 49, the interception, right? All these moments have something. And I think that stick save is probably the moment that in like 20 years from now, we're saying, oh, do you remember that stick save in the Olympics? That was the key moment, the memorable play of this Olympics.
Well, the stick save and McKinnon's miss. And there were just a couple of momentum-changing moments in the game. I mean, the 5-on-3, which, the U.S. kills off, and they just, managed to find a way, to hold on and win the game. They never at any point were in control of it. And, I mean, even when, they were on, the 4-minute power play at the end of the game, we're like, okay, it's so fascinating the way that third period played out. Canada dominated it, controlled it. You've got just an absolute freak save, the stick save. McKinnon misses, and then you get down to 6 minutes to go. You get the 4-minute on Bennett. Of course it was Bennett too who did it. That putz, I loved that it was. I'm like, oh, Sam Bennett's going to cost his team a gold medal. Turns out he didn't, because Canada killed that penalty just as effectively as the U.S. killed the 5-on-3. Then Canada goes on the power play. They don't really, get too much going there. It was just, there were so many momentum changing moments in the game, and the U.S. just held on. Like, I think their resilience as a team is really what I take away from it, because not to mention too, Jake, Canada sends out in 3-on-3. Here's their opening line: McKinnon, McDavid, Makar. Sweet Jesus. Like, how do you, like, you have to sit there for 18 minutes, thinking about how you're going to go out there and face McKinnon, McDavid, Makar in 3-on-3 with a gold medal on the line. This scared the crap out of me for 18 minutes, and they went out there and got it done. It was remarkable. It really was.
Especially when they won the faceoff, too. It's like, oh, here we go.
Oh,
it's done.
Game's
they're over.
Game's over.
And the fact that they got the stop, and this kind of brings up another point to me as well. Do we have to start having a conversation about Connor McDavid as a player?
A little bit.
He's a great hockey player. We all know that. That guy's kind of a loser. I'm sorry. You lose 2 Stanley Cups and you come up short in the Olympics. Okay, cool. You won the Four Nations tournament. That was fun and all. That was fun in games. You lost the 3 big boy events in your life, the Winter Olympics and 2 Stanley Cups. You are 0 for 3.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Potentially.
According to the Kachucks, that's what Ryan Walden wants to talk about. Ryan?
Yeah, hey guys. You guys mentioned how the Kachuk brothers didn't really have an impact in this game, and you're right. But I just wanted to comment on both of them, but Matt Kachuk in general, how Bruins fans hate him, but they secretly love him. And I think both of them have created sort of an identity in USA hockey, and just the impact, like the 2 fights in the Four Nations carrying over to today. Those 2 guys are the balls. And although they didn't have a statistical impact on this game, just the whole impact on USA hockey, those guys are awesome.
No, Ryan, I think you're spot on about that. The culture that they've brought to USA hockey, and they're both really good players. But and Matt Kachuk was hurt in the Four Nations final. I think he played, but I mean, he really didn't. If I'm remembering, I think he skated around a little bit in the first. And he really was. He was not out there, for much of the game. The thing is. And the Kachucks are incredible players. And, I mean, Team USA's top line is ridiculous. I mean, it's Eichel and the Kachucks. I mean, that's a great, great top line. That's a top 3 or 4 line in the world. But it's not McDavid, Celebrini, McKinnon. It's not
There's
on
a
that.
good gap there.
There's a gap. So the culture that they have brought to USA hockey, I think the caller's totally right about. There's a talent gap. It's not significant, but it exists. So the United States is going to need to win and compete in other ways. And I'm not saying that they need to goon it up because of course they don't need to do that because they are on Canada's level or pretty darn close to it. They can come close to matching the talent. They don't completely match the talent, but they need to have a little bit more toughness, a little bit more resilience. And I think if I'm in Canada today, I'm talking about how, in the end, their star players were not as resilient as they needed to be. It felt like they got tight. McKinnon got tight. McDavid got tight. Celebrini got tight. They had a million opportunities to finish, and they couldn't do it. That, to your point about McDavid, that's something I'd be a little concerned about.
I would be very concerned about that. Not even if I guess it's the same thing. You're a Team Canada fan, and you can also be an Edmonton fan, right? I would have so much concerns about this guy moving forward because he's gotten you there so many times. He's been on the brink of it. And it felt like I remember watching when they played Florida in that Game 7, and you're like, he's going to do it. Here comes McDavid. And he just never came in.
In McDavid's defense, I will say this, though. He hasn't been... Now, he's on the better team today. Team Canada's the better team. So I hold today against him so much more than I hold the Stanley Cup finals against him. Those Florida teams were better than those Edmonton teams. So he does have that as a defense. There's no defense for this today. I mean, Canada dominated that game. And the reason they lost that game is their star players could not finish. They were not good enough in the big moment. I'm sorry, that has to be the storyline coming out of it.
Do you know how we look at Binnington and we're like, this guy, we look down on him in this city.
Yep.
Based on the 2019 Stanley Cup and all that. Do you think Canada's looking at Hellebuck the same way we're looking at Binnington? Like, you let this guy stop you?
Well, so Hellebuck's an interesting case. I mean, he's won 3 Vezinas, so he's tremendous, but he's always kind of come up small. And, there was an argument that maybe he came up a little bit small in the Four Nations final. And, I mean, there was some discussion that, is Swayman going to push Hellebuck for the number 1 spot? Is Swayman going to push Hellebuck to be the number 1 goalie for Team USA? Not after this tournament. Wow. You want to talk about 2 guys who showed up in completely different ways in this tournament. Congratulations, by the way, to Jeremy Swayman on his gold medal. That was well earned and well deserved. He really had a tremendous impact on this run to the first gold medal in 46 years.
It's a lot to be the doorman. He's going to be tying that out. And which also, by the way, that too many men on the ice penalty that should have been called.
Yeah, they got away with that.
They got away with that. I don't know whose fault that goes on, but that was bad. That was embarrassing. In that moment, that happens. Come on.
Let's call it what it is. Canada should have won the game. there were things that, I mean, and it's their fault they didn't win the game. I mean, I'm not saying, the too many men on the ice, that was a blatant miss. I mean, that was a break. But
a massive break.
Based on what you had seen, and again, far be it from me to say that the power play unit of McDavid, McKinnon, Celebrini, Reinhart, and Makar isn't going to find a way to score if you give them a 5-on-4. But based on the way Canada finished today, I have no real reason to believe that they would have taken advantage of another opportunity. They had a million opportunities to win this game. They should have won that game. And in the end, Hellebuck stole it, and their best players weren't good enough to take it, or weren't good enough in the big moment to take it.
That should make you feel so bad if you're a Canada fan. Oh, my God.
Can we talk about Nate McKinnon in particular coming back? On the other side, 617-779-0985. That miss, that is going to haunt his dreams forever. Straight out of the Sandlot. Forever. Matt McCarthy and Jake Seymour here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
This is Shaw Grandy, voice of the Celtics. Tune in tonight at 6 for Star Market Celtics Tonight and check out the Star Market app. Earn rewards, save on your groceries and gas with Star Market for you. Download the Star Market app today. Go shopping and get rewarded. Star Market, the official supermarket of the Boston Celtics radio network.
Mike Rowe here with
Yeah, if McKinnon puts that in, the United States isn't coming back. Not the way they
that would have
played.
been the knife that killed it.
Not the way they played in regulation. Honestly, Canada might pour it on after that because they were playing a game where, I mean, we'll admit it, they dominated most of the game, but they couldn't finish. So I think it's one of those things where it's, if you see another one of those go in, you take the lead, the floodgates might open. That was the game right there. The game was on McKinnon's stick, and he couldn't deliver. What did he say after the game?
Yeah, post-game, he says, quote, "You be the judge of who was the better team today." Oh, that is so salty.
So good.
So salty.
Oh, I wish we had audio of that, but it's obviously a little bit different at the Olympics. Could you say that again, please?
Yes, he said, "You be the judge of who was the better team today."
Oh, cry your Canadian tears. I mean, look, in the end, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all.
No, Canada was the better team today. But he can't be the one to say that. Dude, look around the room.
Bad, man.
You choked. You gagger. Nate McKinnon, you gagger. Oh, that is your defining legacy. The game, the gold medal on your stick, and you miss the net. The one time you could beat Hellebuck, and on a day where he stood on his head, was tremendous. And you, one of the great hockey players on planet Earth, top 5 player. I mean, wherever you rank Nate McKinnon, he's right up there. You have the game on your stick in your nation's sport. I mean, you're trying to make a statement once again that it's still your game, and you blow it. And you come out after the game and you say, well, I'm sorry, what did he say again?
You be the judge of who was the better team today.
Yeah, I'm the judge. Canada was the better team today, but you sucked and you gagged it, and you lost the gold medal for your country. Colin?
That overtime goal was kind of on him too, because if you go back and look on it, they had the 2-on-1 and he should have played the puck. He goes for the check, and then Jack Hughes scores.
Great point.
Good point.
Great point. Yeah, McCarr got beat a little bit too. I thought McCarr was tremendous. Colin, I don't know your thoughts on McCarr today. I mean, I thought he was great. I thought he was all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, that first goal was nasty.
Dude, he is. He's ridiculous. But despite the obvious advantage that Canada did have, and let's be honest, we all watched the game. Nate McKinnon watched the game too. He knew Canada was better. They couldn't put it away. So let me ask you guys this. Colin, you're a hockey guy. I very much get the sense that you are, so we got to get your thoughts on this as well. 3-on-3 for the gold medal. Are we in favor of it? Yes? No? Overtime?
I was so in on it because it gets to a point where, okay, we've now seen a period of being, maybe a period and a half of being tied at 1. The 5-on-5, there's no break. So you need some external factor to break in and stop the stalemate. And because what if we just kept going? And they got the closing ceremonies tonight, so that's all, they're up against it on the back end. They just need something to break the ice. No pun intended. Just break the ice on it. And 3-on-3 is the perfect way to do it because you have to be perfect. And that moment that Colin brought up, they got the advantage, and Team USA took advantage of it. And I don't feel bad for Canada either because we talked about it. They had plenty of opportunities to put this one away, and they choked it.
Yeah. Colin?
The 3-on-3 might make for a better television product, which ultimately is maybe what they're going for. But I think if you're going best on best in that spot, 5-on-5 is maybe more what you want to prove it. But I understand why they go 3-on-3, and NHL is probably going 3-on-3 too, because those playoff games, especially last year, there was a couple that went for hours and hours.
Yeah, I can't do the 3-period hockey game. I mean, eventually, and this is a debate across all sports. You know, how long is too long to go before you have to start doing something a little bit gimmicky to just get to the end of a game? I don't want a shootout determining, Olympic gold medal. I don't want that. I'd probably prefer 4-on-4 for maybe 10 minutes, and then you go 3-on-3. Like, if you can't find a winner 4-on-4 with the best players in the world on the ice, maybe, okay, you go 3-on-3. I like the gradual, instead of just dropping straight down to 3-on-3. But people had an issue when they went 4-on-4 in 2010. Oh, it should be played 5-on-5. No, I'm all for taking a guy off the ice and, finding a winner somewhere. 3-on-3 is a little bit gimmicky, but if I'm in Canada, I'm not complaining about the fact that it went 3-on-3. That should be advantage Canada.
Oh, absolutely.
And they blew it. I mean,
Connor
again,
McDavid. And they had the chance too. They won the faceoff. They had the breakaway, and you're sitting there watching, going, "Oh my God, here it comes! Here it comes!" Oh, they missed.
Those guys were on the ice. Was McDavid on the ice? I think he was on the ice for the game winner. I mean, McKinnon was on the ice and McCarr was on the ice. I mean, I think McDavid was also on the ice, as he was going to be for the vast, so long as it determined for them to get a winner. So yeah, I mean, the 3-on-3 was a format that benefited Canada. And when Edzo said that during the game, it's like, this team just needs to get to overtime and open up the ice. I was like, are you nuts? You want to go up against, McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr? And they did. And they won. It was great. But I'd probably prefer it if it were 4-on-4. I'm not going to complain because it's a good television product, but
what if they did an extra overtime period of 5-on-5, and if it was still tied, you went to 3-on-3?
Yeah, I'd like to get to 4 there at some point. I wouldn't hate that though if you play. I mean, there was another full period of hockey to be played that I think you're getting a real hockey game. But at what point does it become not a real hockey game where it's just a war of attrition? I think you can play a full extra period of 5-on-5. And that's how I'd feel about the Stanley Cup playoffs, too. You play a full extra period of 5-on-5. After that, let's drop down to 4-on-4. Let's drop down to 3-on-3. Because once you get into, the early stages, and this is just me watching as a fan, the early stages of those second overtimes, those guys are gassed. Yeah, There's nothing left to
Once
give.
you get to that second, third overtime, it's just guys with dead legs. And at that point, you're just hoping for a bounce of a puck to decide a game, which shouldn't happen, especially a gold medal game in the Olympics.
Right. I mean, I'd rather have a game be decided by a 3-on-3 gimmick format than some trickly third overtime. Guys are gassed. They've played 60 minutes of hockey. Like, you're not getting a real hockey game there anyway. There has to be like that dividing line, and that's what we need to determine as sports fans. Where is the dividing line? It's probably too early, just from a pure hockey perspective. It's probably too early to go to 3-on-3 in the first overtime. That would be my sense.
I have no problem with the 3-on-3 in the first overtime because it just puts another wrinkle into it. And like you said, we can't stay here forever. But to the other point too is I wouldn't be upset if there was a moment on a 5-on-5 after 60 minutes of a team just winning because the other team got tired. I mean, sorry, that's kind of part of the game too. You got to outlast your opponent in that sense. And if you're going to get tired and have a moment slip away and you're done, well, sorry, you lost the game because of that.
To your point, in a game like this too, these guys are fresh. It's February. They haven't played a lot over the course of the last 2 weeks. I mean, you're out there against Latvia and Slovakia and Germany. I mean, it's not like you're, really grinding out those games the way you do, 7 games, 4 rounds of the Stanley Cup final or the Stanley Cup playoffs. So these guys are probably way more fresh. It's probably going to take a little while to get to that point where it becomes a war of attrition. So to your point, you got to find a way to end it soon. And it ended quickly as we all anticipated, that it would. I just would have no problem if they did 4-on-4 as part of it.
The 4-on-4 stuff, I think, it's not a bad point. You definitely can't do 5-on-5, I think. You got to get away from 5-on-5 because we're in a stalemate, especially in the game like this where it was tied for so long. It's not like Canada got a goal with 10 seconds left to tie it and we went to overtime after that. It was these teams were in a gridlock. They couldn't do anything. So find something to break the ice and let it happen, and that's what they did today.
All right, we need a commission on this. We got to get some people together, decide when we start doing gimmick overtime rules in all of these sports in the playoffs. Like, we have a World Series game that went to 18 innings. At what point does it become a ridiculous, stupid, kind of farcical game? To me, in baseball, it's about the 13th inning. Like, you've got an extra 3 innings. You've got an extra third of a game. I think in hockey, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you've got an extra overtime period where that's still real hockey. After that, it starts to get a little... So I think that's kind of a third of a game for any of these sports. Baseball, hockey, give me an extra third of the game. In baseball, in the 13th inning, even in the playoffs, put the runner on second. In hockey, go down to 3-on-3, whatever you need to do.
Not to cross sports here, but
do it.
Are you in or out on the invisible runner, the ghost runner?
Love it during the regular season. I'd like to see it in the playoffs starting in the 13th inning.
Yeah, I'll get behind that.
Like, I wouldn't... look at World Series Game 7. That game did not need the ghost runner. If we went 2 or 3 more innings, it probably needed the ghost runner. World Series Game 3, which is the game that went to 18 innings. I watched I probably started watching in about the 7th inning that night. So, I mean, I got a full night of baseball, but it probably became kind of a joke around the 13th or the 14th. Innings 10, 11, and 12 were tremendous. They were great. I don't need the ghost runner in the playoffs in that scenario, but eventually you do need to find a winner. I mean, I'm all for, you have to go to the gimmick rule eventually. I just think there should be, in the playoffs and in a gold medal game, there should be a gradual decline to that form of the sport. That would be my approach. 617-779-0985. Rich in Rhode Island. Hi, Rich.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
Hey, what's up?
Listen, I wanted to see if you knew the Massachusetts connection with today's victory.
Matt Boldy.
The first scorer for the U.S. is from
Millis
or Milford. Millis. And the goaltender went to UMass Lowell.
Rich, I would advise that you call Mike Felger tomorrow at 2 o'clock with that call. He'll handle it very well. He'll be very happy to talk about how Matt Boldy's mom works at the Catman, which, I mean, is a great spot. I mean, we talk about, I think people probably are still at the Catman, because did you see the National Weather Service map that came out yesterday?
I did, yes.
Mansfield is straight in the bullseye. That is in the you are absolutely F zone. We're never seeing you again. So just stay there. Stay at the Catman. Yes, no, Matt Boldy's from Millis. His mom's a bartender at the Catman in Mansfield. Yes, Connor Hellebuck played at UMass Lowell. Charlie McAvoy plays for the Bruins. Yes, all that.
Yeah, Swayman plays for the Bruins, McCarthy.
Yes.
Yeah, we're like a powerhouse.
I mean, Jack Eichel, not just Chelmsford, North Chelmsford, right?
Yeah, yes, North Chelmsford.
We need to
gotta be very specific on this.
Listen, I'm from south of town. I wouldn't want to offend anybody north of town just by saying Chelmsford.
You can't just have it all being Chelmsford. It has to be North Chelmsford.
We got to make that happen. North Reading is where Derek is. Hi, Derek.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
What's up?
I want to quote Herb Brooks. Mm-hmm. Great moments are born from great opportunities. Now, as a goalie, I'm offended by his comments, McKinnon, that you will be the judge of who the better team was. We were the better damn team. We had the better goalie. A goalie is part of the team. Now, Bennington and Choke Kinnon can now kiss my rear. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks, Derek. I appreciate it. Right message, wrong messenger. Canada was better today.
Absolutely.
Now I hear what he's saying. Yes, the United States had the better goalie. No doubt it's why they won. But even Nate McKinnon can't be the person to come out and say Canada was better. Yeah, Canada was better. And if you were better, Canada would have a gold medal. As good as Hellebuck was, and he was all-time today. He was great. Nate McKinnon had an open net, and he missed.
It was the one moment where Hellebuck slipped. Or maybe he did slip. I don't know if I want to put it on that.
But it was the play on the other side of the net. He was beat. It was what it was.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a better way to phrase it. It was the one time that he got beat, and there was an opening, and you choked it. Sorry, you lost.
Somebody needs to find me the audio of that. I pray to God some Italian sports guy recorded that. I need the audio. 617-779-0985. I see on the phone lines. Hang tight. We will get to you. Coming up next, one of the true hockey authorities at the station, Kevin Majori, is going to join the program. He'll break it all down. We'll do a lot of USA hockey all day, so hang tight. Matt McCarthy and Jake Seymour here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Tune into the next Celtics broadcast to find out which player really took care of business in the first half, sponsored by Cambridge Savings Bank. With CSB, you get a partner who puts you first so you can focus on what matters most. Visit CambridgeSavings.com or stop by a branch to start your relationship today. Member FDIC.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Busy Dog Basement Technologies.
overtime. Looking at the NBA tonight, Celtics are at the Lakers for a 6:30 tip. You can catch the action with pregame starting at 6 o'clock on 98.5 The Sports Hub. And currently, the Cavaliers are at the Thunder. Thunder lead 90-86. Nets and the Hawks will start at 3:30, as will the Raptors and Bucks. And Nuggets Warriors also start at 3:30. Sports Hub headlines were brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 50% off your drive-thru oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Jake Seymour. Next update in an hour.
Spectacular in deep three. Violent two-hand slam. Wow.
98.5 Sports Hub. In this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, Matt McCarthy and Jake Seymour. See you on the phones. We'll take care of you at 617-779-0985. A lot of U.S. hockey talk today. How could there not be? Let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. We're joined by the great Kevin Majori from the Felger and Maz program. Kevin, you and I talked after the Four Nations last year, and you said that the first thing you said is this is a build-up towards the Olympics. You know, that's the big one, the gold medal a year from now. And the United States has done it. They've finally beaten Canada in a gold medal game. First time ever the United States has beaten Canada for the gold medal. Just your overall thoughts?
Well, first of all, going back to last year, it's very rare. It's kind of rare for you to live through a moment like we lived through in the Four Nations final last year, and then everybody just starts thinking about how these two teams could meet each other next year in the Olympics in the gold medal game, and then for it to actually happen. Like, it's just kind of crazy that it did pan out that way. Like, I know they had the two best teams. They were two of the three teams with a complete NHL roster, but anything can happen in those quarterfinal and the knockout rounds, especially the way Canada looked in the first two where they almost lost both of theirs and the Americans struggling with Sweden. But it is like crazy for it to have actually panned out that way. And then for today's game to happen, just an unbelievable hockey game to really be part two of what was last year from that Four Nations final. And, fortunately for us, the Americans came out on the right side of it.
How big of a watershed moment is this for U.S. hockey, Kevin?
This is huge. This is up there with 1980. This is totally different from that, right? I mean, those were a bunch of amateurs, a bunch of college hockey players playing against the Soviets. I think in terms of the NHL players at the Olympics, this is definitely obviously because they won, but this is the biggest moment for them, and this could be the launching pad for more successful American teams in future Olympics. Not that they haven't been successful. I mean, this is their third gold medal game with NHL players there. It's not like the Americans haven't been there. They've been there. They just lost. For them to finally get over the hump and beat unfortunately to say it, to beat their big brother in that sport, it's a massive, massive moment for USA Hockey.
Kevin, I think you said earlier this week that this meant more to you than seeing the Bruins win a Stanley Cup, or if you had to have it either way this year, you'd rather see the gold medal come home with the United States rather than the Bruins winning a Stanley Cup. Just curious, from your perspective, is that really how big a moment this is, that it's that important for this country and this team that you would give up the Bruins' success? Because we know you're a big Bruins guy and you are locked in on the Bruins year-round.
Yeah, I mean, I took obviously a lot of heat for that one. I tried to clear it up later in the week on Felger and Maz late in the show on Thursday, where I kind of look, and the Bruins have had a better year than we all expected, but the way last year ended for the Bruins, the way the summer went, the way things kind of started this year for the Bruins, there were really no championship expectations out of them, and that's fine. They're kind of in a retool / a rebuild. So throughout the summer, going into this year, I was really locked in on 2 weeks of hockey, and it was this 2 weeks. And you guys know how much I love the Bruins. You know how much another Stanley Cup would mean to me. But I was just so locked in on the Americans this year in hockey, in USA Hockey, that it really overtook, and that's not meant to be a slight at the Bruins. I just saw this as a legitimate chance. We saw what happened last year. They come up just short. They beat Canada in the whole, round robin in the Four Nations, and they come up short in overtime against Canada. And you kind of look at the American roster, and they were without their two of their best defensemen. One of their best forwards tried to play, and he played, 2 shifts, and then he didn't play the rest of the game. So you look at these Americans as being eye to eye with the Canadians. That's why I just had so much for it, and that, like I said, I wouldn't trade a gold medal for a Stanley Cup this year. And I got my gold medal.
That you did. Kevin Majori joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Did the U.S. win this game, or did Canada lose it? And I know that's like such a sports talk radio take, but you know what I mean by that, Kevin, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to be a fence sitter, but it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
I mean, look, we've seen it time and time again in hockey, especially in playoff hockey. Sometimes it comes down to one player, and that one player is the goaltender. And on the American side of things, the only player that showed up for, 63 minutes today was Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck was the reason they won this game. So you have to give him credit in saying the U.S. won. But, I mean, I think the best defenseman in the world is Cale Makar. And I think Cale Makar, I know he scored the only goal for Canada. I think Cale Makar had a dreadful day. I don't think not really dreadful, but both goals you can put on him. Yeah. You know, the Boldy goal, I know it was a little move, but he splits Makar and he splits Taves and he goes in and he scores. And then in overtime, if you watch, from behind the net, like, he gave up on the play. He thought McKinnon was going to win the one-on-one battle with Werenski, and if McKinnon did that, it's Makar and McDavid 2-on-0 up the ice, and he kind of gave up in the neutral zone. And so I think there's a little bit of losing it as well for Canada, and not to exactly pin it on the 2 stars from the Colorado Avalanche, but I think Makar and McKinnon played a role in this team not winning for Canada. So I hate to be the fence sitter. I think a little bit of both. Like, Hellebuck won it, but without the help of Makar and McKinnon to an extent, Canada kind of lost it there.
You see, I put way more of it on McKinnon than I do Makar. I thought Makar was all over the offensive end, and maybe I'm putting a little bit too much on that, and putting the Boldy goal on Taves maybe more than you are, Kevin. But I just thought in general Canada's forwards, I mean, that top line no-showed when it came to finishing in this game. I mean, McKinnon has a wide open net with the gold medal in front of him. McDavid has a breakaway. Celebrini has a breakaway. I thought this game came down to the fact that Canada and their top players, their top forwards, did not finish.
Yeah, and maybe me saying dreadful for Makar was a little much, because he's one of those guys where you expect a perfect performance every night, and he tends to give it to you. And maybe he wasn't that tonight for them, but yeah, that top line, last year, I will say this, and this is not meant to be a knock at McDavid, but maybe it is. But last year, I thought it was a little bit of a changing of the guard with his overtime goal, the game winner. I thought it was kind of, maybe they give him the C next year, and Crosby's his, right-hand man with the A, and kind of passing it along the future of Hockey Canada to McDavid. And his performance, I know he was given the Olympic MVP, but his performance in these last 2 games with the C, because he had to wear it because Crosby was out, I look at it, and you really weren't getting that much from who is, in my opinion, the best player in the world. You expect more out of him, right? And he has the breakaway. He doesn't score in the breakaway, and he's also kind of part to blame. He got caught up ice on that overtime goal. The whole top line in general, McKinnon, you're right, he missed the net. He's making excuses after the game. I'll go easy on Celebrini because I like the kid and he's young. He's still 19 years old. But yeah, you're right. That top line, 3 of the top 4 scorers in the world, for them to be held scoreless in this one, that's for Canada, that's big reason why you lost.
Is this game different if Crosby plays from a leadership and finishing and experience standpoint?
If he's healthy, right? Like, I don't think an injured. So part of the Americans losing last year was that they basically had a forward sitting on the bench the entire game in Tkachuk, right? If Crosby was healthy, I think it's totally different, right? I think if he whatever happened the other night against Czechia doesn't happen, and he plays the other night, I don't think they barely eke out ahead of Finland the other night. I think they beat him easily, and I think if he plays, it's much different. I still think that he is one of the greatest players in the world still. He's, to me, top 5 all time. So I think if he's healthy, absolutely this game is different. But if he played through what he was going through, he just becomes kind of that useless guy on the bench. And maybe his voice being heard on the bench is better, and that helps them. But I don't see if he skated dealing with whatever he was dealing with. I don't think that makes much of a difference in terms of how today's game panned out.
Majori, John Cooper came out and said that about the 3-on-3 in overtime, that it's not hockey when you take 4 players off the ice and it's all TV driven to end the games. I'm just curious from your standpoint, your perspective, what are your thoughts on the 3-on-3? Did you hate that these games ended in the 3-on-3 overtime? Would you want to see 5-on-5 or maybe 4-on-4 instead? What's your perspective on that?
So I hate 3-on-3 in gold medal games, in playoff hockey. I know Felger wants that. I'm anti that. I understand why they're going to it. I do. It does prevent you from having a triple overtime game. I'm honestly not even entirely sure. I could never see like a 3-on-3 game making it past the second overtime, probably a first. But what I do find interesting about the comments from a guy like John Cooper is that the comments are made after he loses. Where were those comments the other night when your team won in a 3-on-3 overtime? Where were those comments? A lot of people, it's playoff hockey and 5-on-5. Where were those comments 16 years ago when Sidney Crosby scored in 4-on-4 overtime to win the gold medal? I love that they don't go to a shootout. I absolutely hate shootouts. I think everybody knows my feeling on shootouts. I don't even watch shootouts. If the Bruins are in them, I just turn the game off. But I do find it interesting that those comments come out following a loss, and and we all do it. Fans, coaches, everybody, we all do it. But I do find it interesting that the 3-on-3 comment comes out after a loss, not 3 days ago when they beat Czechia in 3-on-3 to keep their hopes alive.
Now, Kevin, I mean, you're the true hockey authority, so I'll ask you this. If you could put together a 3-on-3 lineup from any team in the world, would you maybe give all 3 players? Would you maybe go McCarr, McDavid, McKinnon, which, I don't know, is Canada's top 3-on-3 line? The fact that has to be one of the great loser comments I've ever heard in sports. The guy with the best 3-on-3 line in the world complaining about 3-on-3. Unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely. That's probably the best currently that you're going to have. And even think about who their second unit was probably going to, or let's say Crosby played. Yep. Right? Their second unit is probably Crosby, Marner, and Devon Taves. Or it's just Macklin Celebrini is, again, it's probably Crosby, Celebrini, and Taves. Complain about it all you want. I get it. I agree with him. I hate 3. I don't like the 3-on-3 overtime when it comes to winning a championship. I really don't. In the regular season, I get it. You don't want ties. I understand that. But 3-on-3 in the championship, I agree with him on that. But you had all the tools at your disposal. You had way more offensive talent. You had way more speed. Going into the tournament, the Americans went with the grittier lineup for the penalty killers and the fourth liners playing fourth line minutes and fourth line roles, and that led to slower guys on the American roster. You had way more speed. You already have way more speed to begin with, and in an open ice game, you lost. Deal with it. You lost. Both teams had to play 3-on-3. That's the rule. I hate the rule, but if you don't like it now, hopefully you didn't like it the other day when Mitch Marner skated by everybody and scored to get you into the semifinals.
It's such a good point. And it feels like Canada's so salty because there's the comments from McKinnon too, and he came out and said, who was the better team tonight? I think we all know it was Canada. But I'm just curious, it seems like this rivalry is really starting to develop in these last few years, and especially with the 4 nations. Where does it go from here? Do you think the 4 nations will come back as a yearly thing? Do we need to space it out, kind of similar to what soccer does with their gap years between the World Cup and the Olympics? Where do you think this rivalry goes from here?
So they're definitely going. They're after last year, they basically really made it seem like they're going to go kind of the gap year of there'll be nothing next year, and then in 2028, 2028 there will be another World Cup. Hopefully they should go back to whether it's 6 or 8 teams and having more teams in the tournament. It's going to be kind of an every other year thing. So, the American-Canadian rivalry definitely developing and continuing to grow. I think the 2010 happened, and that was great. And then, I know they played in the semifinal in 2014, but it was a 1-0 game, but it never really felt close.
That game was
then and then 2016 they played in the World Cup, and the American roster was just a debacle, and they got smoked by Canada. So it feels like these last couple of years it's rebuilt, and we're probably. I think their goal is for every other year to have, the Olympics this year, 2 years from now is the World Cup, and then 2 years after that's the Olympics, and you keep going with that to kind of build not just that rivalry, but other rivalries. Sweden-Finland is obviously a great one. Hopefully get Russia back into it, because Russia does have a little bit of a rivalry with both us and Canada, right? So build it. But it seems like it's trending towards an every other year thing to get the best on best in hockey more often.
How much does hockey need the international game? How important is this for hockey?
Well, for something like this, like in these last 2 years, I get the 4 nation finals in now. Like it's helped. It's helped the sport. I mean, you believe it helps the sport. I mean, we've watched 2 tremendous hockey games. Like the people that maybe just tuned in last year on a random Thursday night because there was booing the anthem drama and wanting to see what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden you get this tremendous hockey game, and then doing it again this year with it being the Olympics, so people are focused on the Olympics. I think these 2 games have been huge, international hockey-wise, but just in general for the game, especially in America, to kind of help grow it. And I think, again, where the international hockey, it's not just always going to be U.S., Canada, right? And if you get the other nations to compete every once in a while and get a win, it helps grow it in the other countries as well and try to grow the game. But these last 2 years, especially for American hockey, I think has been absolutely massive.
Kevin, before we let you go, anything nitty gritty from the game that really stood out to you, for the true hockey folks out there? Standout players, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, and I know he couldn't finish today, and we brought him up, but at just 19 years old, the Canadians have one of the best players in the world in Macklin Celebrini. That kid, it felt like, was everywhere early on. And he is what kind of scares me going forward. This is why I also kind of felt this year was really important. I'm not saying the Americans can't do it 4 years from now, but Celebrini is going to be 4 years older. Connor Bedard is probably going to be on that team. An advantage the Americans have on the Canadians is defense. I think the American defensive core is so much better overall. Yep. But Canada's got one of the youngest players in hockey in Matthew Schaefer, who's having a rookie of the year type season. He was the first overall pick. Like to see a guy like Celebrini play as good as he did all tournament, including today, where he felt like he was everywhere. That just kind of sticks out to me. Of that Canadian team 4 years from now is going to be, I think, even better than what we saw this year, and it's going to be a very, very, very tough team to bring down. And Connor Hellebuck, I think, finally cleared his can't do it in the big moment situations.
Kevin, great stuff. Really appreciate it. Glad you got to enjoy this. You were the first person I thought of when the U.S. won today. You love U.S. hockey. You love hockey in general. So enjoy it. You have earned it.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
You specifically have earned it. So,
well, I sometimes you get to sit through all that heartbreak just to finally get. I honestly felt like a Bills fan. I thought we were coming down to losing again, and then getting 2 feet of snow on top of it. I felt like this is what the life of a Buffalo Bills fan, but we got the win, so it didn't matter.
Now you can die in peace during Snowmageddon. So, Kevin, we'll talk to you maybe tomorrow. Maybe, who knows? All right, sounds good.
Safe travels, guys.
All right, you too. That is Kevin Majori joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. See you on the phone lines. We'll take care of you. One open line. Grab it right now. 617-779-0985. Matt McCarthy and Jake Seymour hanging out until 6 o'clock tonight.
More Matt McCarthy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Big on flavor, big on comfort, and big on value. The 99 Restaurant's $14.99 Big Deal meals are now available every day, all day. So hurry in today or every day for our juicy chopped sirloin. You gotta love the nines.
Don't get caught off.
win.
How close did it come to you playing here in this gold medal game?
That was pretty close. Ultimately I wasn't able to go out there and do what I needed to do in order to help the team. So at that point, you got to make a decision that's best for the group. And not an easy one, but that's hockey.
So how did you find ways to at least try to be impactful if you're not on the ice here today?
It's hard. I think you just try to be around and be a positive influence. I thought that the way we played all tournament, even the games leading up, I thought we were really good and we were tested, in some of those games. It's not easy to get to this point, and we just found ways, and I thought one of our best games was probably today, and unfortunately, it doesn't work out for us, but like I said, just really proud of the group and the way we competed and the way we played.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Sidney Crosby, who did not play today, is hurt. And it is interesting. I wonder if it would have been a little different had Crosby played, just because it felt like what Canada was missing in this game today was some type of winning quotient, some type of kind of been there and done that factor. And they had a million chances on the doorstep, and Hellebuck was responsible for stoning them on absolutely most of them. But I think the real story, if I'm doing sports talk radio in Nova Scotia today, I am ripping that Canadian top line for the number of chances and opportunities that they had, and they couldn't finish a single one of them. And you wonder, listen, Crosby's not the player that, McDavid's a better player right now than Crosby. Celebrini's probably a better player right now than Crosby. McKinnon is, of course, but Crosby's won a gold medal. Game-winning goal in the gold medal game in 2010. You wonder if that experience factor and a little bit of that calm winning intangible may have been a little bit of what Canada was missing, because that top line was missing something for them today. I think that's a factor.
Yeah, they were. We talked about how Canada was a better team, but part of that too is you get the opportunities, but you have to have that intangible thing to convert on those opportunities, and they just didn't have it. He's won 2 gold medals.
Yep.
This is
how many Stanley Cups too? 3 Stanley Cups?
Something like that. That sounds right. But Crosby passed his prime. We all know that. But I think that experience and that voice in the bench would have been so helpful for this team moving forward, especially as the game progressed. You get to the 3-on-3. And again, they had so many opportunities in this game that you don't feel bad for Canada. You don't feel bad for the guys who didn't get that triple goal, like Marchand and Crosby today. But again, that is such a... When we talk about the intangibles, he's the guy who brings that. And when you lost that voice, you lost your captain, that was such a blow for this team.
The United States had more intangibles. And that almost discredits by saying that, I feel like you're tacitly discrediting the talent that the United States has, which I don't want to do, because I think it's really easy for us to, of course, they're the underdog. Canada's the better team. Not by much, but they are. I don't want to turn this into the 1980 college kids versus the Soviets. It's certainly not that. But the U.S. had more intangibles, and I think it showed up. I think it's interesting, Jake. Like, I look at this game and I say, Canada was better, but the United States deserved to win. And I know that sounds crazy, because Canada just missed so many opportunities. Like, when those things start piling up, you say, oh, they're not cut out for it today. They're not cut out for it. The U.S. they're going to outlast them. They're going to be more resilient. Canada should have been up 4-1, 5-1 with the way they dominated the second and third periods, but they couldn't close. So I put that on them, and I put that also on the U.S. for not breaking. The resilience of that team today is the reason they won. And obviously, Hellebuck individually was tremendous.
They bent, they didn't break. That was the big thing today. As we talk about it so much, it's such a cliche in football. Yep. Bend, don't break. That's what Team USA did today. And that resiliency, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the American dream and just being American. Like, you're just going to outlast and outwork and outperform. And sure enough, that's what Team USA did today.
How about Ben in Norfolk, who's been waiting patiently? Thanks, Ben.
How you doing, guys? I love your show. You guys do an awesome job.
Thank you.
What I love more is I cannot wait to listen to Felger tomorrow, because do you know why the U.S. is not going to win a gold medal? It's because of the roster construction and putting players like Sissy, Jack Hughes on the team. I've been hearing that for 2 weeks. Then the guy gets 2 teeth knocked out, comes in, and ends up putting put one in the back of the net in overtime to win a gold medal. So I cannot wait for Felger to eat his hat. He already has to eat one hat for Morgan Geekie scoring 30 goals. Now he's going to have to eat another one for Jack Hughes scoring.
Jake, so this is your second time, right?
Yes.
Second time on the air here doing, talk show for us.
Yeah, being in one of these chairs.
Yeah, being in one of these chairs. One of my least favorite things is when I have to answer for what Felger said. 617-779-0985. He's on at 2 o'clock tomorrow. We think with the storm. I don't know.
It's
I
the
don't know if
wrong
he's coming
2 to
back
6
from
window.
somewhere. Yeah, right, exactly. Yes.
Weekday programming.
It's fun. It's funny to poke at Felger, but he waited a long time just to say that Felger was wrong. Call and tell Felger he's wrong himself.
Majori will take the phone call.
Yeah, Majori will be there. He's the one taking the call. He's very happy. Very happy to celebrate it. Xanadude. He's like a Bruins super fan. Hi, Xanadude.
How you doing?
Hey.
I was going to chime in on the OT rules, but your guys already said all the stuff. I wanted to throw a conspiracy theory out there and just have you people comment on it. I think the refs saw that too many men on the ice and just said, you know what, I'm not having this gold medal game decided on a too many men on the ice call, and just decided to let it go.
I'll be honest, it felt like that, Xanadude. Yeah, I mean, there were 7 guys on the ice there. They wanted to stay out of it. I don't know if Jim Murray's going to want the refs jailed tomorrow. Jim's very passionate about beating Canada, so
be consistent on that.
I didn't see any tweets from Jim Murray about jailing the refs after the United States totally got bailed out on that. We're all just going to kind of turn the blind eye to that as the refs did. You're right. The refs didn't want any part of this game. Listen, it was a break for the U.S., but Canada had so many opportunities. I'm not going to say they lost the game because the refs did screw them on the too many men in the ice. I mean, let's call it.
You got the penalty, the power play anyways with the high sticking at the end. So you had your power play opportunity.
They had their chance.
Yeah,
they had
on top of that, the McKinnon goal. Stop. McKinnon should have converted.
They had plenty
of
chances.
I felt different on that. That felt so clunky and awkward that it was almost like the refs were like, what happened? Like they almost swallowed the whistle because I saw it on the TV
froze.
And I froze like, what is going on? And the players froze too. All the players on the bench kind of stopped. And Canada they saw it right away and they were throwing their hands up and they were upset about it. I don't know if the refs 100% caught what happened until it already happened and then it was too late to call the whistle.
I think it was one of those things they went into the game saying we're not calling anything in regards to, bench violations, too many men on the ice, which is generally the way you want a game like that officiated. So in the spirit of it, I guess I understand. But, I mean, I think it was Hughes, right? The puck hit him. There were 7 dudes on the ice. The puck hit him. You kind of have to call it in that situation, but I agree. I mean, Canada had so many opportunities. That's if I'm doing again sports talk radio in Winnipeg today, I'm not losing my mind about the fact that the refs missed the too many men in the ice. I'm losing my mind about the fact that Nate McKinnon missed a wide open net.
Yeah, and take away your fandom from this for a moment. Would it have been worse if the game ended on that power play? Let's say they call it, you go to the power play, Canada scores and wins the game, or the gimmicky 3-on-3. What is a worse outcome for the Olympics in that particular game?
Yeah, from a television standpoint, the 3-on-3 is great to watch. So, yeah, I mean, it's probably better that the game ended in 3-on-3 than a 5-on-4, too many men on the ice. The puck bounces and hits, I think it was Hughes. I'd have to go back and watch.
Yeah, I think it was too.
That's from a visual standpoint, from a fan enjoyment standpoint, yeah, it's probably better the way it ultimately played out. But I'll be honest, the way Canada finished today, is there any guarantee that they score 5-on-4?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that power play, they were 5-on-3, they didn't look great. And that power play should have looked better than that with the 5 guys they're trotting out there. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's a video game line. How about Spence in Beverly? Hey, Spence.
Hey, guys, great show. Couple quick things I want to mention. Just like you said, the 5-on-3 was like a video game, and they couldn't convert.
Yep.
The better team won today, guys. They won the gold medal. Come on. How many times in the first period did they have the open net? I saw 2 of them. It could have been easily 3-0 to start the game for the USA. Yes, the ice was tilted at times, but they defended it. And the goalie is superior to Bennington.
Yep.
That was the biggest difference maker today, I believe. That goalie's unbelievable.
Spence, you're exactly right about that. I mean, Hellebuck's the number one reason they won the game. He was tremendous. I mean, listen, Canada controlled play. They were better for the majority of the game. But like, as I said, I know it sounds weird. Canada was the better team. The U.S. deserved to win the game. which sounds like a real Joe Murray cul-de-sac. Like I'm saying one thing and I'm saying the other, but I actually think in this situation, both of those factors can be true. With the amount of opportunities that Canada missed, particularly in the third period, they didn't deserve to win. Like you have to, finishing is a huge part of the game. They choked. They gagged. Nathan McKinnon gagged. Connor McDavid, best player in the world, had a breakaway. Didn't really get a good shot off. Macklin Celebrini, who's tremendous, the best young player in the world, on a line with McKinnon and McDavid, has a breakaway. I don't look at that one as, I think, Hellebuck made a really good save there, but the amount of opportunities they had with the best forwards on planet Earth and they couldn't finish, like, if you can't finish, you don't deserve to win. You can be better, you can control play, but that does not mean you deserve to win.
The better team today took home the silver medal. The better team today also puked on themselves and played with it. And instead of playing the hockey game, that's what happened today.
I think that's a perfect way to describe it. That was. It came up hard in that situation. There was a lot of vomit there from that Canadian first line. How about Roger and Revere? Hey, Roger.
Hey, guys, I don't want to sound like I'm throwing hand grenades, so I'll apologize ahead of time. So here's the thing. Number one, period one was USA. Period two was Canada. But remember, Canada had that 5-on-3, and contrary to what you said, they had 5 shots on the 5-on-3. The puck didn't go in. They didn't convert, but they had 5 shots. Now, period 3 was clearly stolen by the USA goalie. And you know what? If you go flashback to 1991, Ron Tugnut with the Quebec Nordiques stonewalled the Bruins on 70 saves. The Bruins were the better team on paper, on the ice, but Ron Tugnut stole the game.
Yep.
My compliments to Team USA, but Charlie McAvoy was exposed for the fraud bum that he is. He's this generation's Glenn Wesley.
I'm not going to go that far on that, Roger. McAvoy also had, if you want to talk about a great moment,
save.
We haven't even mentioned it. I mean, we're in 38 minutes into the program. Listen, it was, the save on the open net. I forgot ultimately who had the shot for Canada. I don't come out of this tournament saying Charlie McAvoy is one of the best players in the world. I mean, he is because he's good enough to be on Team USA, but he's not Quinn Hughes. He's not Cale Makar. Slavin's better. Rowensky's better, probably. But McAvoy deserved to be there. I don't think he was exposed in any way in this tournament. He did not feel as impactful in this tournament as he felt in the Four Nations. But I don't know, if you're walking out of this today, and I also think he's being asked to play a completely different style of hockey, too, which was not necessarily a flashy style of hockey. And as a result, I don't think he stood out. Like, you're not asking him to, be on the power play. Like, you're asking him to be a little bit more of a role player, and I thought he was perfectly fine in his role. I think that's too strong. You want to walk out of this tournament and want to criticize the hell out of Jeremy Swayman.
Yes,
that's probably more fair. If there's a Bruin you want to rip in this thing, how about Swayman? Colin?
It was the board's fault.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was a little too late.
Well, thank God they changed the color of the boards today. Otherwise, it would have impacted, Hellebuck. The United States wouldn't have won.
What's worse, the McKinnon coming out today and saying that the better team, his comments about that, or Swayman talking about the boards and how it really affected his impact when he allowed 3 goals and an 857 save percentage?
Swayman going to the Olympics and complaining and getting those colors changed. Player feedback, they said, is the reason they changed the colors. It's a bit of a bad look. Don't get me wrong. The McKinnon comments are worse. I mean, you have a wide open net with the gold medal on your stick, and you come out after the game and say essentially the better team lost, which he's not wrong. He's the wrong messenger. It's the same thing with John Cooper saying, well, 3-on-3 is a gimmick. And I'm paraphrasing here. Let me pull up the Cooper comments. Quote, you take 4 players off the ice. Now hockey's not hockey anymore. There's a reason overtime and shootouts are in play. It's all TV driven to end games. So it's not a long time. There's a reason why it's not in the Stanley Cup final or playoffs. Is he wrong about what he said there? No. You can't say that when you have the advantage in 3-on-3. You have McKinnon, McDavid, Makar. You jackass. Oh, you loser. Oh, you crybaby. Oh, it's so good. That is the tears of unfathomable. That is straight up. Oh my God, why am I losing it? Cartman. Who's the guy? Scott. Do you like it, Scott? What's Scott's last name? Damn it. You're way too young for this, Jake.
Yeah, sorry, way over.
Colin, you're way too young for this. Scott Tenorman. I mean, that is straight up Scott Tenorman size tears there from John Cooper. They're so good. Let me taste your tears, Scott. Let me taste your tears. We'll continue. It's Matt McCarthy, Jake Seymour, Colin's producing. We got you until 6 o'clock tonight.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
This is Sean Grandy, voice of the Celtics. Tune in tonight at 6 for Star Market Celtics Tonight and check out the Star Market app. Earn rewards, save on your groceries.
Four Nations. And I felt like with the Olympics, Felger and Maz had a lot of Olympics talk, but I feel like the timing kind of took away, especially from the earlier shows, the morning show and the midday show here. It's like, what are you going to talk about? The game's about to happen, and we obviously can't really talk about when it's happening because there's a show going on.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It was the Olympics just aren't as digestible for something like this as 8:00 Thursday night prime time on ESPN. You have to, okay, where's the game? Is it on USA? Is it on Peacock? How do I find it? The game times are weird. Some of them are 11 a.m., some of them are 3 p.m., whatever it is. You're also playing in a lot of the group stage games. You're playing Latvia, you're playing Germany, you're playing, countries that are second-tier hockey countries. It's not like, the Four Nations kind of happened overnight. It was a week-long tournament. Not that the Olympic tournament is all that long, but it happened. It was 1 week. It was a moment in time, and you're right. It was huge. Not to mention, too, the final was here.
Yeah,
it was
that's true, too.
In our backyard. I was there. A lot of us were there. It was an unbelievable night. So, from a pure fan perspective, the Four Nations was probably a more digestible product. I hear what you're saying about that. This game today, though, it's way different. It's the gold medal. It's the most iconic, people say the Stanley Cup is the most iconic trophy in sports. No, the most recognizable trophy in sports is an Olympic gold medal. Every person on planet Earth knows what an Olympic gold medal is. So it means the world to these guys. This is, I'm sure, devastating for Brad Marchand. This is the only crack he's probably going to get at it. Because, they didn't go to, Korea in 2018. They didn't go to Beijing in 22. So this is the only crack Marchand's going to get at it. The players care about it. It's more important, to them. And the Four Nations was important because it was like a best-on-best test. It was a lead-up to this. It was a lead-up to this day. But I guarantee you every single player on Team Canada would trade their Four Nations trophy for an Olympic gold medal. It's not even close. So for this, the product, the meaning, this was way better than anything the Four Nations did. And I'm not here to crap on the Four Nations, which was awesome, and I loved it. But from a fan experience, I hear what you're saying.
This game fixed it. I remember I sent this text this morning when, we got the group chat together, figuring out what we want to talk about, how we want to talk about the Olympics. And I was kind of reacting in that moment. Then I watched this game, and this game was much better than all the Four Nations combined. But again, it was just one game, and it was a Sunday at 8 a.m. And I know right now they're doing the closing ceremony, so you're up against the time difference. Like I understand all that, but can we have the game at noon on Sunday? Does it have to be 8 a.m.? Like for us, it's fine. Whatever. Get your ass out of bed, watch the game. But if you're on the West Coast, we're talking about a 5 a.m. puck drop. Come on. 5 a.m. puck drop? Come on. That's a little much.
I agree. But the Olympics are not designed to be catered to, and it's maybe one of the problems of the Olympics, but they don't cater events and times to any time zone other than the time zone that they're in. And by the way, I know this will sound crazy, but the closing ceremonies are going to outdraw Team USA versus Team Canada. Like in the ratings. They are. Now, I'm personally not watching the closing ceremonies. I haven't watched the opening or closing ceremonies for the Olympics in probably 15 to 20 years. I loved it as a kid, but that's what it was. But the average casual, that's the great thing about the Olympics is they appeal to kind of the non-sports fan too. Sometimes I feel
you can buy the pageantry of the whole thing and the tradition, all that stuff kind of appeals to people.
That's why they don't want the gold medal game in any way up against the closing ceremonies, because it's actually a more important, bigger. Now, I don't think they are, but to the rest of the world, the closing ceremonies are more important and bigger than the gold medal.
Why did the closing ceremony have to be today? Why couldn't it have been tomorrow?
So I agree. You should have played the game on Saturday. Colin?
I love the 8 a.m. start. I think it made it feel different, unique. You'll remember that forever, that you will, Sunday morning at 8 a.m. when USA beat Canada. I just think it makes it different and elevates it.
See, I didn't have much of a problem with it. But that's also, I'm not a TV executive. Don't get me wrong. If I'm NBC, I wish that I had Saturday night, 8 o'clock, although actually that's probably not good because they wanted to, have the figure skating exhibition last night, which again, is a bigger draw to the average person than USA Canada is for hockey.
I thought it was nice too. No commercial breaks in the hockey game.
Oh, that was great, wasn't
God.
it? No, that's
so good,
man.
So good.
From an actual viewing perspective, hockey in the Olympics is great. You sit down, you watch the game. The games move faster because you don't have the commercial breaks. There's the break where they clean the ice in the middle of the period, and that's pretty much it. Oh, it's wonderful. No, it's like watching a Stanley Cup overtime game where no commercial breaks, we just play. Now that is, I'm really glad you brought that up. From a sports, that is a pure sports experience. No commercials, no interruptions, nothing. That was awesome.
And just, I guess, one other point of the whole media perspective, that's just as a journalism nerd, I loved Mike Tirico throughout the whole day today. Again, I haven't been able to really sink my teeth into the Olympics outside of today. His monologue at the end of the game, perfect. The man just called a Super Bowl, and he flew to Italy to do all the Olympic coverage. He is very, very, very good at his job.
He's very versatile. He's a pro. There's no doubt about it. Here's what Tirico had to say after the game. Well, I know you'll pull it up here in a second, Colin. But you're right. No, I thought NBC's production today was excellent.
Because of a drought that almost lasted a half century, those teams are revered. They are held on to forever. And what happened today doesn't take away from the greatness of those teams or the meaning that those teams have in U.S. hockey. But what you saw today was the build of a generation, inspired perhaps by that team that lost in 2010 in Vancouver to the Sidney Crosby golden goal in overtime. Or the team where TJ Oshie had all those shootout goals in 2014. That's when these guys were doing what you're doing, watching on TV. And they were young, and they were living the dream. So for all the young people out there, not just the hockey, but all the Olympics you've watched, those dreams are formed now. Go chase them and go get them. Because our country loves sports, and it brings us together unlike anything else. And if you didn't know that, and if you haven't been watching the last 2 weeks, you saw it in Team USA Hockey, winning the gold over their arch rival Canada here in Milan to wrap up these 25th Olympic Winter Games.
Undeniably a watershed moment for USA Hockey today, beating Canada for the first time in a gold medal game at the Olympics. Best on best. They've had, frankly, very few victories over the years. They won in 96 in the World Cup of Hockey, which is, to me, nowhere near the level of an Olympic gold medal. And other than that, they've knocked them off a few times here or there. You beat them up in Montreal during the Four Nations, but then you lost the final. This is undeniably a major moment, a major milestone for USA Hockey, finally beating Big Brother in Canada.
Right, and we haven't talked about this or mentioned this fact today. You realize it's 46 years to the day of the Miracle on Ice.
There's a reason why I haven't mentioned it. And yes, it's cool and all that, but I don't even want to go there because sometimes people go there. They're like, yeah, rah, rah, USA, play the Herb Brooks speech. Like, Hellebuck's won 3 Vezinas. Your first line is Eichel, Kachuk, Kachuk. Like, Jesus, they're really good. Let's not even do the comparisons.
Sure, but isn't that fair to say that this is our Miracle on Ice? We weren't alive for that. Name another sporting event, a moment where a team was the underdog like this, and you watched them come over it. I know it's not apples to apples.
It's nowhere near.
It's not. It's like the Walmart version of the Miracle on Ice.
No,
but it's similar.
No, it really isn't. It's a major moment, and it's like you get past the team that you've been trying to get past for a long time. It's, as I said, it's akin to the Red Sox getting past the Yankees, or Peyton Manning getting past the Patriots in 2006. Like, it's that. It's not anywhere near the Miracle on Ice. That I don't even want to go there because I think it's frankly insulting to not only the Miracle on Ice and what they accomplished as a bunch of college kids, not professional players against the Soviets, but it's also insulting to this current Team USA with Vezina trophy winning goalies, superstar players on their top lines. Like, it's insulting to the quality that they put out there. So, you can watch your Herb Brooks speech and get all fired up.
No, I'm not the guy to sit here and get all fired up over that, but I did hear coming in today. I didn't watch the documentary because I don't do TV, but there was a documentary on the Miracle on Ice on Netflix recently, and Kendra and Dondera brought up, and they said they ended it by saying, we need another 1980. You kind of got it.
Well, you're never going to get that in that ever, ever, ever again. We need another 1980. Well, it's not going to happen because those
This is as close you're going to get to it, though.
Those circumstances. Yeah, I don't even want to go there. I don't want to compare it to that.
But doesn't this say for this particular game, it shows the grassroots and the growth of hockey from a youth perspective that now the country is building up players. Like we have guys from Arizona playing for Team USA, Florida, Massachusetts, Minnesota. Like there's guys all over the country. It was not just the Minnesotas, the Michigans, the Boston kids that are coming up and competing. These guys came from all over the place. And that, to me, is the most important part. Is it's showing that hockey, for as much as we want to say it's the little brother to basketball, baseball, and football, and it's kind of like the forgotten stepchild, this sport is growing, and there is a grassroots culture with it.
No, it is undeniably a sign of how U.S. hockey has grown over the last 46 years. I think that is absolutely the context to put it in. In 1980, the United States was not the second best team in the world. They weren't close to that. In 2026, the United States defeated Canada, the best team in the world, because they were the second best team in the world and are very close to that level. That is tremendous growth for U.S. hockey over the course of 40 years. So that, I think, is absolutely the context to discuss it in. I've Joe Murray'd the clock. I'm sorry. We'll continue. Got to take a quick break. It's Matt McCarthy and Jake Seymour here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Skip the fees and trust the locals. Ace Ticket is your hometown source for Celtics, Red Sox, Bruins, and concerts. The best seats at the lowest prices. Go to aceticket.com or call 1-800-MY-SEATS.
1-800-MY-SEATS. For all your heating and cooling needs, you need Endless Energy.
Your heating system should be your home's MVP. Don't spend another winter in the losing bracket. Book a free heating system consultation between now and March 31st and be entered to win a free heating system up to $20,000. Let Endless Energy's experts show you the latest technology to keep you warm all winter, cool all summer, and save money while doing so. Visit goendlessenergy.com or call 775-ENDLESS.
Why wait? At Best Ford, our President's Day sales event is going on now. Save thousands with up to $15,000 off MSRP on our most popular Fords. Or take your pick. A new 2025 Bronco Sport for $399 or 2025 Bronco for $499. Plus, exclusively at the Best Ford.
The last event, we got the closing ceremonies going on now. You big Olympics guy?
I'm anti-Olympics. I'm not really into it. I like the team sports, like hockey. I try to get into. Working. Sometimes it's hard. But Felger Maz, I was doing that a lot in the earlier part of the week. So we had it on the studio. I was monitoring that. We were watching that. Felger Maz were also kind of reacting to it. So it was
wait
fun.
a minute. You're anti-Olympics.
Yeah, I'm kind
Why
of
is that?
anti-Olympics.
Why is that?
I can't get behind like the the weird sports like the biathlon and the curling.
Biathlon's a tough watch. Don't crap on curling though. Curling's great. Curling's
see. My
awesome.
thing is that I'm now at a point where I watch sports not for the sport itself, but rather the storyline. And I think that's why I was so invested today, because I was like, oh wow, this hasn't happened in 46 years. They've never beaten Team Canada. Like they could really do something historic here. So like tonight, like for example, right, like the Celtics and the Lakers. You're watching this game because, yeah, I do care about how the Celtics perform and how they look and the X's and O's, sure. But I mean, it's Celtics Lakers, the narrative there, the historical narrative, right? That's why I'm going to watch this game tonight.
So
all the things with sports, with the Olympics, it's hard for me to get bought in unless if I hear some story of, you know, this person overcame X injury and had to do all these different things, and okay, cool, I'm in on that. But sitting down and be like, oh, I wonder what the curling event's going to be. Who's going to win that? No, can't do that.
First of all, you're discrediting, you're crapping on curling. I'm not going to tolerate curling.
That's also probably biathlon and hockey is probably the only three sports.
Biathlon's a tough watch, man. I'm going to tell you that. That's I can't get on board with that. But curling, tremendous. But you say you like the human interest, the storyline. That's what NBC tries to sell you on with the Olympics, because that's how you bring in that's how you bring in the casuals.
Yeah, but I need to know that going into it. Like it's the same reason why I won't get behind. Like I like golf, but I need to like know going into it, like the Masters, what the storyline is, what the person's. I like watching golf too, because I'm at this point going to journalism school. I'm like a broadcast and media nerd, so like I'm like, oh wow, did you see the lower third, like how it swept in from the left to right, or wow, did you see that camera shot? That was like just geek out about that things. And I watch it. And my dad and I were watching golf last year, and I said something to him about it. He's like, "What the hell are you talking about? Like just watch the sport." So that's a part of it to me too.
But you're not an uncommon sports fan, because I feel like a lot of sports fans, like the diehards, the people work in this business who watch every game. If we're talking about the 4 majors or the 5 majors, I feel like those are the people who aren't really fans of the Olympics, which I just never really understood, because obviously I'm a sports freak. I've dedicated my life to it. It was certainly a big part of my life to it. I've always loved the Olympics. Love the Olympics. And I do like the fringe sports. I like getting into skiing for 2 weeks. I like getting into curling for 2 weeks, or figure skating, or the speed skating's tremendous. I can't get enough of it. The winter sports are so fast too. I'm a big Winter Olympics guy over Summer Olympics. Maybe it's because track and field doesn't really do a lot for me. So I don't know. I'm just so surprised when I hear. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because there's so many sports fans who feel that way, who are like you, who are just straight up anti-Olympics, like diehard sports people who don't give a crap about anything that goes on in the Olympics outside of really the 4 major sports when they're in the Olympics, or really the 3 majors, because American football isn't in it.
Right. And I think the other part of this too is I like the Summer Olympics more than the Winter Olympics. Yeah. So like I like the swimming, I like the gymnastics, basketball obviously I'll always have on. But outside of that, like the closing ceremony, we have it on in the studio. I've watched more of this than I have any other event outside of the hockey this morning.
Well, that's why the Olympics, again, are a little bit more human interest. It's, people love the closing ceremonies. They love the opening ceremonies. That's why, the IOC doesn't want to schedule, the gold medal game up against the closing ceremonies, because the average person actually wants to watch this instead of the game. Now, I'm not one of those people.
Wouldn't it make more sense, though, to do that? Because you have all the eyeballs on the game anyways. So, like, if the game was, let's say the game ended an hour or two ago, because this is how long the closing ceremony has begun. I know the players got to get there, but do the closing ceremony in close proximity to the hockey game, so then the players can just get right over there, and then you already have the audience who just watched the game. They're going to keep it on the television. They're not going to check it out. Like, you're asking the consumer today to keep Peacock on the television for, like, 5 hours. Not going to happen.
Right. You also have no idea if the U.S. is going to be in it. So, it might be.
We had a hunch.
You have a hunch, but it easily could have been Sweden versus Canada. So, I understand why, the game was at the time it was at. I'm personally not complaining about it, but no, I thought it was a great Olympics.
You're also asking a lot for the common person or the common sports fan to get into the Olympics, because it's happening at these crazy times. Like, if you're working, like, we work in sports, so it's a little bit different for us. But if I have an office job that I need to be focused in a meeting, or I'm a blue-collar guy, I'm working in a basement on water heaters, whatever, I'm not going to sit down and keep the Olympics on my speaker and or even zone in on it. Like, I'm not following that.
Well, that's why, that's why the NHL did not send their players to Pyeongchang or or Beijing in 2018 and 2022 because the games would have been played at 3 a.m. So I actually do understand the business decision that the NHL made there because you're not growing the game in the way that you're going to grow a game if it's in North America or in Europe. Europe's doable. The big time events are happening between 2 and 5 in the afternoon. And, they do the primetime recaps. Like the other day, I missed the women's free skate. Because I do enjoy figure skating. I mean, I'm an Olympics guy. I feel like it's the premier event, of the Olympics. And I caught that on the primetime recap. And you know what? It was great. And I do have a take on that. This might be like I do a figure skating take every 4 years. I think I gave some take about some Russian skater 4 years ago.
Okay, let's hear it.
I can't remember what it was, but I felt like I was witnessing child abuse, and I think that was my take. The Russians weren't allowed in it this year, so I mean that was, or maybe that was, I don't even know, 8 years ago. I don't know when they banned the Russians from the Olympics, but that's neither here nor there. In regards to the women's figure skating this year, Alyssa Liu is the queen of cool. She's awesome. You didn't watch any of this? Colin, did you watch any of this? No? Yes?
I saw it on social media.
Okay, well, what did you see on social media? Just like the actual, her actual skate?
Yeah, or like the reaction after. I mean, she dropped an F-bomb on NBC, I think.
Oh, I didn't see that because I caught the primetime recap. So they sanitized that.
Yeah, they didn't include that one.
She is not only is she just wildly fun to watch and an incredible skater. Her approach to it has to be one of the biggest, from a sports psychology standpoint. Going out there and doing a free skate with Olympic gold on the line has to be one of the most mental pressure athletic moments you can have. It's just you out there, one little slip, one little fall, one little under rotation, and that's it. It's gone. There is truly no room for error.
Well, you guys were talking about the human interest part of the Olympics, and she had a great story too. I think she quit the sport entirely when she was a teenager, and now she's back and winning gold in the Olympics.
So yeah, and that's a great story.
Yeah,
that's sellable to the masses. But she is a new test case in sports psychology, because her whole thing was, and it was an absolute joy to watch, and it was completely different than just about anything I've ever seen in figure skating before, which really you kind of watch for the meltdowns. I mean, Amber Glenn hits a triple axel in the short program. I mean, she is on her way to easily an Olympic medal because nobody else is attempting triple axels, and she misses a double, just flat out, her mind just skips. She misses a double, and that cost her an Olympic medal, and she now needs to live with that forever. I mean, she was on social media, going out there doing the jump again and being I'm going to think about this forever because she screwed up. It was a tiniest little mess up that cost her maybe even Olympic gold. But this same thing, right? I mean, I'm so interested in sports psychology, that. Sure. There's so much pressure, and I mean, not to say I know what it feels like. I'm an absolute basket case on the tee box. Sports psychology is a thing, and this girl, Alyssa Liu, she is the queen of cool. She quit the sport because she didn't love it anymore. And then she came back and she truly, in the best way possible, didn't give a crap if she fell. She was just out there smiling, didn't give a damn. And her whole point was I really don't care if I win. I'm just out here because I love this sport. And as a result, she won. Everybody else, every single other figure skater screwed up because there was some form of pressure and there was some place where they cracked. It's not to say that she didn't care about the sport. It's that she loves the sport. She found the sport again, but she didn't really care about the results because her whole thing was, I'm just out here because I truly love this thing. And that's why she won. It was one of the coolest things I've seen in sports psychology, and I think she's the new test case for it. That was really awesome. I enjoyed that. So there's my figure skating take. Alyssa Liu is the queen of cool, and from now on, I'm going to compare some performances in sports to the Alyssa Liu approach, which is how very few athletes approach. Trust me, if Drake May had the same mental approach as Alyssa Liu, maybe the Super Bowl goes a little bit differently. But he was a little anxious, a little bit of a mess. Maybe not great above the shoulders. I know we talked about the shoulder. I think above the shoulders is a bit of a problem for Drake May too, not for Alyssa Liu. You should look her up in sports psychology. The Patriots shrink, whoever that is, their sports shrink, needs to show Drake May some Alyssa Liu footage because that's a game changer. There's my figure skating take.
I like it. No,
I'll get another one
that.
for you in 4 years. How about that?
I'm looking forward to the 4-year one from now.
You know
that was so good. I'm looking forward to it.
You know what? She's coming to Boston next week. She's going to be at the Skating Club of Boston, Norwood. I'm thinking about maybe going out there. Seeing her. It's not like a real performance. I think it's like a show type of thing.
Okay.
Like, not to say like a Disney on Ice type of thing, but which is freaking gold medalist. The first time we've had a gold medalist since My Girl. Oh, no. Sarah Hughes won in 2002. My Girl, Tara Lipinski in 1998. That was a real game changer for 7-year-old Matt McCarthy. Had the biggest crush on Tara Lipinski in Nagano in 1998.
Now we see where the figure skating.
Oh no! It all goes back to watching Tara beat out Michelle Kwan. Then Michelle fell in 2002. It's just awful. So I am the Sports Hub Figure Skating Authority. 617-779-0985. More figure skating takes coming 2030 in the French Alps. Or maybe next weekend if I go see Alyssa Liu at the Skating Club of Boston next week. So there you have it. We'll continue. It's Matt McCarthy and Jake Seymour here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Every part of your life matters.
That's Matt McCarthy and Jake Seymour. We're here until 6 o'clock, and then we're getting the hell out of here. Getting home, hunkering down. Got a big one coming.
I can't wait. So excited for this, McCarthy.
Dude, you live northwest of town?
I live north, I guess, east from here.
Okay. Yeah.
Like north.
I don't want to hear from you how excited you are about this.
Why?
Are you on the coast?
No.
Okay. You dealing with 80-mile-an-hour winds like the folks on the Cape?
No.
Are you going to deal with power outages maybe for days for folks who? Yeah. Well, no. You're not gonna. You're not in the jackpot. I don't want to hear from you about how. Oh no, I'm really looking forward to this one.
I love the snow.
I'm not saying I have a problem with the snow, but I do have a problem with heavy, wet snow that's going to cause power outages.
Yeah, okay,
that I've got a problem with.
Obviously, out on the
very, very easy for you, Mr. North and Inland, to say. Nice. I'm thinking. I'm thinking about my people in Scituate right now.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't want to see anyone get hurt or damage property or anything of that nature. Hopefully, I just wish the storm comes in. You see the snow and it looks good, and we get no school. It's already getting cold in a lot of places, we just move on with it.
Have you been following the forecast on this thing? This is not like a light and fluffy type of
thing. I know. It's going to be heavy,
wet.
Yeah,
it's a problem. So that brings us to a question that you asked me before the show.
Yes. So this is kind of an either-or question. So would you rather only be able to use like a powerful equipment, like a snow blower, a snow plow to clear the snow, or a shovel? You can only do one or the other.
So like the other one's completely gone.
Yeah. So like, for example, if you say I'd rather have the plow because or the snow blower because I need to clear my driveway, you cannot use a shovel to clear off your steps or your walkway or anything like that. You are only able to use the power equipment. And if you go the other way, if you have the shovel, you can clear off the steps and the walkways and your doorways, but you can't really clear your driveway with a plow or snowblower.
All right, I think the obvious answer here is you need the power equipment. However, in my specific scenario, I have a short driveway.
Okay.
I have a garage, which is nice. Don't get me wrong, but it's a short driveway. I'm looking at where I am. I'm in the jackpot zone. My exhaust vent is 3 feet above the house, like the snow line. If I get 3 feet of snow, I want a shovel to be able to go out and, shovel up my exhaust vent so I don't die of carbon monoxide. So I think I'm taking the shovel in this regard. I'll have nice clean steps. I don't really have to worry about too much of the driveway. I know it's heavy wet, but I don't mind shoveling. Give me the shovel in my very specific scenario.
I looked it up too on the Boston Weather Service, their map. I'm in the 18 to 24 range for this. So
child's play.
Well, where else? I mean, okay, sure. I guess Providence getting 24 to 30.
Yeah,
everyone else is getting.
I want you to look at this as Jim Murray called it, the burnt sienna. I want you to look at the jackpot zone, the your porked zone. Look at how big the your porked zone is.
Yeah, plus Norton, Providence.
Right, exactly. Like down in the greater Foxborough area, extending out towards the south coast and the other parts of the South Shore. Like, not to mention too, you're north of town. You're getting children wins, child's play wins. Like, we're getting the real wins down here. Okay,
that's true.
Yeah, winds are the factor. You're focusing on the snow. We're talking wind here, Colin.
I think the National Weather Service described it as catastrophic and destructive.
Yes, yeah, so, not what you're looking for.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't want to see anyone get hurt or anything of that nature, but I like the snow. I like watching it fall.
It's very.
I actually love. I know it's wicked dangerous, but when the trees have snow on it, that caused a lot of issues. Like today, for example, or yesterday, we had the snowstorm come in, and the trees already have snow on them, and we're getting this wet, fluffy stuff tonight. Can cause for the trees to fall with the wind. So I don't like that part of it, but I love nothing more than driving on the street and looking up and you just see snow-covered trees. It might be one of the best things you can see in the world.
It's a beautiful thing when it's light and fluffy.
Yeah.
That storm we had in January, perfect. Oh, great. 2 feet of snow. I mean, it was a lot, don't get me wrong, but it was light. It was fluffy. Wasn't a real problem. Heavy wet, trust me, it's not what you want.
I saw Channel 5 tweet out concrete like snowfall. Which is problematic.
That's a problem.
So hopefully everyone stays safe.
Well, we got ourselves an issue there. One thing I love to do. I mean, if you're on the air here, of course, we all love gambling, right?
Of course.
Little over under. Little 98.5 The Sports have Snover under.
Snover under.
What we can do, and open up the phone lines at 617-779-0985. You're going to call in from your town. We have the official National Weather Service map up here. Most of the region is 18 to 24, unless you're in the pork region of 24 to 30, like I am. So what we'll do is if you're in the 18 to 24, we set the over at 21. If you're, and this is where it gets tricky. I saw Eric Fisher tweeting out about this banding. That's the thing. You never know where the bands are going to end up. your hometown, what are we getting? We're going over-under. The over-under for the 18 to 24, we set at 21. For the 24 to 30, we set at 27. There you go. And then you and I, we give our over-unders. The caller can break the tie.
Okay.
And there you go. And then
good.
we will create the official 98.5 The Sports Hub Snowver-under list for the Snowmageddon of 2026.
I'm in on this. Let's do it.
We are also getting to, a storm like this makes the dads very angry. I'm going to read to you a tweet from Alex Barth.
Oh, this was gold.
Let me pull this up.
You read the tweet first, and I'll
No,
give you,
I got to
yes.
find it. You got something.
Okay, so Barth's tweet was about the Blizzard of 78. This is the tweet I'm assuming you're referring to?
Yes.
So
here's the tweet. This from Real Alex Barth on Twitter. My dad, who I would say the great Barry Barth, tremendous, all time. My dad loves the Blizzard of 78. My entire life I've heard about it as a point of comparison for any snowstorm. It is his GOAT. Today he's been reacting to everything about this storm like Michael Jordan fans do when people talk about LeBron.
Such a great tweet.
It is so true, because it is the ultimate dad topic of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Every dad loves.
Every time I hear the story, the snow amount goes up. It was higher up to the power lines. It just continuously grows and grows and grows.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a folktale.
I think my dad was there the night the Boston Globe stopped the presses. I mean, at first it was the Globe stopped the presses. They stopped printing the paper. No, I think he was there. I think he was the one who actually stopped the presses himself. I mean, according to all the the stories we've heard about this. So I mean, we are setting this up for the next few days of all the dads being able to defend their Blizzard of 78 lore.
Yes, and so when Bart tweeted this, I laughed because it was right during the game. I was watching with my dad, and I said to my dad, Dad, you obviously were around for Blizzard 78. You talk about how bad it is. The reports on this, do you think it's going to be worse? He's like, oh, not even close. The Blizzard 78 was the perfect storm. Everything it was perfect. Too much damage. Nothing. This isn't going to touch it. I'm like, I don't know. It looks pretty bad. Looks like this one's going to happen. And also, they said it's going to be the closest we've had to a snow cane. That's what they're calling it, like the way it looks
snow
like.
Cane?
Yeah, so you know how like a hurricane's like a circle?
Yep.
So on the map, that's what the blizzard looks like. And that's why it's like the circle down, like almost like the eye of the storm down to that Providence, Norton area, which is where all that 24 to 30 is going to be set.
So that we're going to get hit with like the greater Foxborough, Mansfield area. Like all the folks at the Catman Cafe earlier are not going to be able to leave because they're in the snow cane, the eye of the snow cane.
I guess so. I mean, worst place to be stuck.
I mean, there are definitely worse places to be stuck, but that's...
Hopefully everyone's
Can we just
home
call
and
it a
safe by
nor'easter?
then. No, I think we are calling it that.
Well, I mean, but now we're calling it more. It's a snow cane.
I like snow cane. That's a good one.
All right, so very simple. This is how the game would be played, and we'll take your calls at 617-779-0985. We just start with this. We're in Waltham. Town Fair Tire Studios are in Waltham. National Weather Service has it in the 18 to 24 range. Jake Seymour, over-under.
Over. I'm going over. They've been hyping this storm up for like a week now. There's no way it's going to be underperformed. We're not getting a McKinnon example here. They're going to close the deal. They're going to get the puck in the net, and they're going to take home the gold medal.
This is a tough one. See, Coastal, I always go under on Coastal, but we're just far enough away from the coast here. I'm going to go under, barely under. So in this case, we would need Colin to break the tie.
I'm going over.
Going over. All right.
This one feels bad.
Oh,
feels bad.
No, it's bad. I'm not saying this is good, but people focus on the snow totals as the reason why it's bad. No. It's not the snow totals here, folks. It's the heaviness of the snow. The numbers are going to be all over the place.
It's the concrete like snow.
It's the numbers. The numbers are the problem. Or the numbers are going to be all over the place because you're going to get the bands. But then out near the coast, there's always a little bit of mixing. You never know. I'm going to go under there. Okay, but we have the tie. It's been broken. So there we go. Over 21 in Waltham. We will take your phone calls on the other side. Wherever you call in from, that's how we'll do it. 617-779-0985. Little Snover under action. We'll continue. It's Matt McCarthy, Jake Seymour, hanging out before we all get absolutely screwed by this storm tonight and tomorrow here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Matt McCarthy, Jake Seymour, Colin Kennedy's producing. Get room free at 617-779-0985.
Watch out.
We want a hockey take, baseball take, snow take, anything on the board. Let's talk about the snow. Fred in the car. Hi, Fred.
Yes, you guys being a bunch of wimps about the snow. Literally, if I was locked in my house for 2 days, couldn't get out, I'd be fine. I might be tired and grumpy and hungry, but I'd live. It's not the end of the world, man.
No,
you'll be
power?
fine.
I know I'll be fine. Do you have power, though? He didn't want to answer that.
Also, I'm being soft. I'm the one who said I'm looking forward to this storm.
Yeah, no, he's directing that at me.
I'm being lumped in here.
I'm saying this is a coastal impact. This is the power that I like. Yes, I like having power. If that makes me a wimp, okay, all right, it is what it is. I enjoy living in 2026, but apparently Fred in the car wants to go back to 1700, which is fine. Enjoy it. Be locked in your house. Yeah, we'll survive, but I would prefer to have power. That is my preference.
Yeah, we're gonna potty like it's 1980.
I think they had power in 1980, man.
Well, I meant like the internet, TV, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the worst part. So if you have a snowstorm and you lose internet, I'm gonna be pissed if I go home tonight and I lose power and I can't watch the Celtics and I can't get on StreamYard with James Scaramazino to do our Green Teamers podcast. That's gonna throw me over the edge.
I hope everybody out there keeps their power tonight except for Fred. I hope he's out for 4 days.
And nothing from National Grid, because you know how that works. Yeah, which, by the way, I'm not trying to dump on any National Grid workers, but we all know how the information is vague because there's so much crap going on.
Well, in a situation like this, I mean, these are the types of storms that do knock out power for days.
Absolutely.
Then you're dealing with burst pipes and everything. So I hope nobody has that except for Fred, and then he can sit through it. But because he said it'll be fine.
Do you have a generator?
I do not have a generator.
Oh, McCarthy.
No, I know.
Rookie.
Total rookie. I agree. Somebody's got to hook me up. I need a generator.
Yeah,
actually, I really need somebody to hook me up with Springsteen tickets. That's the thing. Before I start asking for a generator, that was you like dynamic pricing? Anybody encountered dynamic pricing for anything? Sweet Jesus. Listen, I've paid a lot of money to see him. I've been in the pit, everything. I'm not paying $3,000 for floor seats for Springsteen.
$3,000?
That's what you'll pay for dynamic pricing right now.
Yeah, I'm done. No.
I don't ever ask for anything. Nothing. I've been here, Jake. I've been here 14 years.
Yes.
Colin, it's been a while. I don't ever ask for anything. I might ask for a little bit of help with that.
Where's the concert?
Garden.
Oh, we have the suite there, don't we?
I know.
The sports hub, right?
You got a hookup? You know anybody?
I don't.
Colin, you got a hookup? You know anybody?
Colin might.
Not yet.
Not yet. I like the positive.
That's my guy right there.
One day.
Let me tell you. Young Padawans. Jake, this is your second time on the air. Colin, you've a new producer here as well. Let me give you a little piece of advice from an old wily vet. Start asking for things way sooner. That's my... Don't be the guy who doesn't ask for things. No, ask for things. You'll get things. You might not get everything, but you'll get things. Ask sooner.
The aim high, hit low kind of thing, right?
Piece of life advice there for you. 617-779-0985. Chris in Hartford. Hi, Chris.
What's up, fellas? Great job today. Hey, Matt, are you considered an essential worker if they told you that you had a sleepover at the radio station, like back in the day, right? Isn't it like the last guy that's got to stick around to make sure people get in, right?
Chris, for 14 years, I think I would have done that. I think I've wised up. I'm not going to do that. They can call me. They can call me if they need me.
Listen, my opinion doesn't mean it.
If I have power.
Listen, I know that. Listen, my opinion doesn't mean too much, okay? But my opinion of you is this. If we did have an issue like that, out of all the guys to grace the mic over at 95 The Sports Hub to keep things moving, it's you, McCarthy.
Oh, thank you.
You touch everything, my brother. Okay? So take that as a huge compliment.
I do.
But today, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and I don't watch hockey till since the Whalers went down and stole a championship down in North Carolina. You know that. I was done with hockey. But when it comes to the Olympics, I will take a watch because it is America versus the world. Talk about the brothers, though. You got two sets of brothers. if I have a brother, if I did anything like this with my brother, we would be on top of the world, the family legacy and everything. Keep on going, fellas.
All right, you too, Chris. Stay safe out there. No, I mean, the Kachucks are obviously, they are the identity for Team USA, and the Hugheses were all over this. Quinn Hughes, I thought was just tremendous all tournament long. Jack Hughes, obviously, with the game winner, was right in the middle of everything in the third period and overtime. It was a great watch, undeniably so.
I was waiting to see if Chris was going to address it, because maybe it was a different Chris in Hartford, but I did not put a Chris in Hartford through on Felger Mass this week, and I heard that Chris in Hartford called into Zone Beetle.
I think it's the
Friday.
same Chris in Hartford.
That might be the same Chris in Hartford. He was talking a lot of talk on Zone Beetle, but I was right here, man.
Let's keep it in Connecticut with Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you doing, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Good. I'm so psyched to have this great sports day. Hockey, then Castiglione guesting on the EEI, and then before the Celtics game tonight, I got 2 hours with Matt McCarthy. It's perfect.
You can't, Steve. You can't beat that.
I know. I'm totally pumped. I have to tell you, when you first came on the scene, well before COVID, and you were first starting to get some guest spots and stuff. I remember when I fell in love with you is when the Red Sox were just collapsing at the end of the season, and all you kept saying the whole time, "Screw you, Red Sox." It was just that was your thing.
That does sound like me. I don't remember it, but I believe it.
It was hilarious. Hey, so I got to tell you, I was pissed off at the Sox all throughout the off season, like completely frustrated, and it's just crazy. But all of a sudden, I'm like thinking that this actually is a not just a good team, but like a really good team. And you opened the show talking about Jared Duran, and everyone's talking about how they got to trade him. It's such a bad season compared to the year before, but he had 41 doubles. He led the league in triples, a 7.74 OPS, 24 stolen bases. That's a pretty solid. It's a solid season.
Yeah, and he's still not a very good player. And I'll let you go on that, Steve, because we're up against it. I don't think we talked about Jaron Duran.
We have not mentioned the Red Sox once.
I don't think so. I will. I'll say this: if Jaron Duran is your number 3 hitter, which he is trending towards being, that's not good enough.
No.
They're going to pitch, and they should be a better fielding team. If Jaron Duran's your designated hitter, which he should, because he sucks in left field, and he helped cost you that series in New York because he couldn't field, couldn't catch a baseball, couldn't catch a fly ball. Duran is overrated in the eyes of way too many Red Sox fans. He is he's a spark plug. He can run for days. He hits it in the gap, and don't get me wrong, it's exciting when he does, but he doesn't hit lefties. He doesn't hit for enough pop. He's a bad fielder, and if we want to talk about sports psychology, Alyssa Liu, not succumbing to pressure, actually not really giving a crap about pressure. Jaron Duran is the exact opposite of Alyssa Liu.
Yeah, Duran could use probably some lessons from her.
Yeah. I wish they had traded him, but they think he's a 7-win player. The rest of baseball does not think he's a 7-win player, and that's why he's still here, because they're not getting the value they want, even though their outfield is still crowded. They'd be better off taking 75 cents on the dollar for Duran in value and getting a real second baseman or a real infielder in return for that, or even getting bullpen help. They have too many outfielders. I'm concerned about the way they line up positionally, that's for sure. How about Bob in Andover? Hi, Bob.
Hi, how you guys doing? I'll take the over for North Reading. I'm not in Andover.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, Blizzard of 78, small kid. What I can remind everybody is that no internet, no cable. Everybody watched over the air. So you only had like 5 stations in Boston, maybe 2 of them UVA. Everybody knew it. It just started. It came. And this is the thing. One guy, there was like 7 or 8 forecasters. Only one guy got it right. I think it was Staroka on Channel 7. But nobody knew it was coming. So once it hit, highway shut down. Mm-hmm. Stores didn't open. You couldn't get food. Trucks couldn't get out. Snowplow. They didn't have the story goes that after 2 years later, they like doubled the snowplow capacity for the state, so never it would happen again. But it was just my father. I'll leave you with this. My father's biggest concern was you were running out of oil in your house because you could only get an oil delivery by a truck, and if the oil delivery didn't come, now you're down heat. So even if you had power, a guy who lived, my father served in the war, World War II. He was scared. He was like, we might have a problem here. And for that, I always remember those moments. And yes, kids were climbing snow piles, up telephone poles. The pictures were amazing.
Bob, thank you for the call. You know what I love about that story? Is it's the same story you've heard from every dad out there in history. My dad, and I'm not saying that to take anything away from Bob. I'm actually saying it to give Bob a lot of credit. I love the call. You know why? Because every single one of them. Have you heard that exact same story from your dad, Jake?
Oh, and my grandfather's, yes.
Colin, exact same story?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The snowplows were so high. I mean, they had to, take a sled 3 miles down into Hyde Park when their neighbor came back and said, the store is open, the corner store, whatever it is.
Like Paul Revere running through Boston.
You know how many babies were born out of the blizzard of 78? Listen, in the words of Eric Adams, great baby making weather coming your way over the next few days. You might not have power, so you are going to have to huddle together to stay warm.
Yeah, it's the only thing you can do, right?
Hold your loved ones close for the next 2 days, folks. 617-779-0985, and be safe in more ways than one. We'll continue. It's McCarthy and Jake Seymour. Just hit the thing before we get canceled.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Tune into the next
78 is, because everybody talks about it with these big, grandiose stories. No, I mean, I kid you not. My uncle worked at the Boston Globe, and in his basement was a framed copy of the Globe the night they shut down the presses during the blizzard of 78. It said worst storm of the century. It was like iconic. It was like right there. And I remember just being in awe of this newspaper that I saw. I mean, nobody had this copy. I mean, it was because nobody got the paper. According to lore, although sometimes I do wonder if it was really that bad. All the stories that we've heard, I didn't live through it. You didn't live through it, Jake. Colin, you didn't live through it. But I mean, you hear all these stories. Anytime you mention anything with snow, people like Danny in Orlando call in and they want to share their blizzard of 78 story. Danny?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up?
Sorry, I'm battling through a little allergy here. But in 1978, I'm 7 years old. We're first generation from Puerto Rico, so it's just me and my mother. And if you guys are familiar with the South End, we live in the basement level. So I'm 7 years old. We open up the door, and there's snow above the door. Again, we're below the street level. So I'm looking at my mom. She's looking at me. We're like, what are we going to do? So we start taking pots, these big, giant pots. We make, Spanish rice, and start digging ourselves out just to get to the street level. And then what do we do with the snow? We put it into the bathtub and run the hot water. And we had to wait for the snow to melt in order to get out. So I don't know how long that process took.
That is incredible.
I mean, these are the stories you hear all the time. Oh, I took out the pot. We put the snow in the bathtub. There was no place to put it, which they're all tremendous stories. And we just alluded to the fact that there was this huge baby boom in Boston after the blizzard of 78. Not so fast. Not so fast. I just Googled this. Headline here from Boston.com. Blizzard babies remind the world the historic 1978 storm produced more than just snow. With the subheadline, quote, when you're stuck in an apartment with your husband and no heat, well, you better believe you do something for warmth. So, of course, there's this whole thing. Everybody was stuck inside. A new generation of Bostonians were born. There was this big-time baby boom because of the blizzard 78. Not so fast. According to the Boston Globe, state data shows that the number of births actually dropped markedly around the due date for babies, November 13th, 1978, who would have been conceived at the time of the blizzard. In fact, 9 months after the storm bombarded the region, forcing New Englanders inside, there was a baby bust, according to the Boston Globe. So this whole thing, we were stuck inside and that's how you were born. It was the blizzard of 70. Nope. No, actually, it was a baby bust. It was all one giant big lie, one giant tall tale. And it does make you wonder if that's one of the many, many tales that have been told about the blizzard of 78, just how bad was it really?
I agree. I mean, I wonder why that happened. Like, was it just being inside for too long? Maybe it has a reverse effect. If you're inside for too long, you get into like an argument or something, and that's how it happens.
You hate your husband by the end of it. You're like, this guy.
Go back to work.
Why did I marry this guy? Yeah, no, exactly. So I mean, you think about it. I mean, Eric Adams comes out, is like, like great baby making weather. Turns out, not so much. The storm of the century, as I saw in my uncle's basement, that covered the Boston Globe. Yeah, it turns out, no, people weren't getting it on during that storm. No more so than usual. Actually, less than usual.
Yeah, less.
Way worse.
I'm telling you, it had a reverse effect. It made it worse because there was motion. I don't know why, but
you spend time with the people you love.
Would you go back to work already?
Sweet Jesus, get this person away from me. So yeah, don't tell me about the baby boom. It's a baby bust. JP and NP. JP.
Matt, I am all aboard old guy exaggerating blizzard of 78 stories. Plus, I got some Red Sox questions. Okay. So, blizzard of 78, Bryant College. We come out of the Rathskeller after a pool tournament. Bad snowstorm, rear-wheel drive cars hit 295, spun around, said, God, if I survive this, I will never drive in the snow like that again, which I still do. That was the toughest part, and you had nowhere to put the snow, Matt. Mm-hmm. That was the problem. The snow was so high, when you shoveled it, you had nowhere to put it. And as far as getting stuff, we were walking right down the middle of the street. We were playing street hockey in the street. It was a snow fights. Great time to be able to throw snowballs at each other, which we did back then. Now I get the two Red Sox questions, Matt.
Mm-hmm. What do you got?
Pitches and catches are there. Did you go to Dick's Sporting Goods yet and get the damn glove? And are we going over or under again? It's that time, Matt.
I'll be honest.
It's that time.
JP, I haven't looked at the prop bets yet. What's the Red Sox over/under total this year?
I have no idea.
I'm not. I've been on Red Sox over/under every year since sports gambling started here. I've been very confident. I've pretty much nailed all of them. I am not confident. Whatever it is, I don't feel very confident this year because they're really going to be able to pitch, but I really doubt whether they're going to be able to hit. So in the end, I think over/under wins 2026. What do we have here?
Trying to look it up.
87.5. I hate that number. I'll be honest, I'm not going anywhere near it this year. They're gonna be probably, anywhere from an 85 to a 90 win team. They're probably a playoff team, but it's just they're going to be so hard to kind of pin down because I think their lineup might really not be good. I think they're really going to pitch, but I think their lineup is bad. So that's going to swing them, a few games in either direction. I don't like it. I'm not going anywhere near it this year. I think they're a playoff team, but whether that's an 85 win playoff team or a 90 win playoff team, I don't have a read on it. I don't.
I'm concerned about the Red Sox in terms of where they're going to put certain people. Like the outfield we talked about is crowded, and there's just so many question marks with this team where it's like, maybe they'll be good, but also you let a guy like Alex Bregman, who you told me all last season was so vocal in the development of these players, and you just let him walk. That should be a pretty big loss, no?
One would think. I've got another Red Sox thought that people haven't gotten to enough. The status of Marcelo Meyer. I do want to do that, but I have to take this call. Brian in Braintree, what the hell happened with you during the blizzard of 78?
Yo. Hey guys, Brian from Braintree. It had the opposite effect. Me and my girlfriend were stuck in a basement apartment together for, days on end. And we just ended up getting into some brutal fights, which ultimately led to our breaking up.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
But you're right.
It had the inverse effect because you realize, wow, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person, or wow, I screwed up.
Big time relationship test coming in the next few days. All right.
Bundle up.
If you're in that phase, get ready. This is gonna make or break you for the next few days. All right, babe, get ready. 617-779-0985. Dude, she's going to hate me by the end of this. Oh, God.
I'm sick of the baseball takes.
So listen, you got to understand, babe, they got an outfield problem. They got too many outfielders. They got too many left-handed hitters. She's going to leave. She's going to go whiteout conditions. She's going to take her front-wheel drive car and get the hell out of there. I can't handle this guy anymore.
It's too much.
Red
Sox stuff is
too
too
much.
much.
Might be a bad few days. Might want to reconsider this.
Watch the 2007 documentary again.
I might get a hotel, man. 617-779-0985. We'll continue. No commercials, just the headlines here.
Dutcher and Hardy, Owen Beetle, Felger and Mass, the Bruins, the Celtics, the Pats, the Revolution. This is Boston's home for sports. WBC FM at HD Boston, 98.5 The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Team USA took home the gold medal in men's hockey today, defeating Canada 2-1 in overtime. Massachusetts native Matt Boldy scored the first goal in the first period, and Jack Hughes finished it with a game-winning goal in the first 2 minutes of overtime. And the Celtics are back in action tonight, taking the Lakers in Los Angeles. Listen to pregame coverage at 6 p.m. with Sean Graney and Cedric Maxwell on the Celtics Radio Network. Elsewhere around the NBA, Thunder today beat the Cavaliers 121-113. Warriors are up 76-67 at the half, and the Bucks are trailing the Raptors 70-59 in Milwaukee. Sports Up headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180. We all love the word free, so does Awaken 180. Medication-free, side-effect-free, and free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Jake Seymour, Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next update in an hour.
Boston Talk Sports.
Trade Drake May. We all know what, but we won't say what. Yeah, worst take on these airwaves in the last 24 hours.
We may not take a call today.
The Sports Hub. The Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Matt McCarthy, Jake Seymour, here until 6 o'clock. Then we hand things over to Grandy and Max. Good sports night heading into the blizzard.
I wonder what the weather is in Los Angeles right now. It is 74 degrees. high of 75, low of 48. Tomorrow, high of 80, low of 52. That's pretty good.
Another day of sun. Give me the snow over that. Give me the Four Seasons. Red Sox lineup today. Spring training. Not that we ever really pay attention to this, but Alex Cora admitted that this lineup is probably going to be something close to what he has on opening day. Here is your lineup. Roman Anthony, DH. Trevor Story batting second, shortstop. Jarren Duran batting third, left field. Wilson Contreras at first base. Wilyer Abreu, right field, batting fifth. Caleb Durbin at third base, batting sixth. Cedon Rafaela batting seventh in center. Carlos Narvaez catching, batting eighth. And Isaiah Kiner Falefa batting ninth, playing second base. Notice anything about that lineup?
Yeah, they're missing somebody. Isn't there like a young player who got hurt last year who was supposed to be really good for the Red Sox? And did he play a lot last year at the big league level until he got hurt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, not a lot because he never plays a lot. Marcelo Meyer.
Yeah. Huh.
Alex Cora, a couple days ago. This from Chris Smith of Mass Live. Alex Cora said Marcelo Meyer needs to earn a job on the Red Sox opening day roster, needing to show some things this spring. Asked what he needs to show, Cora said he needs to be better offensively than he was in the majors last year. Meyer then responded and said something along the effect of, well, Alex says, I need to earn my job. What the hell is going on here? This is not being discussed enough. There's some type of issue right now between the Red Sox and Marcelo Meyer. And to me, Jake, this is a problem. This is a player who has been branded as a face of the franchise type of guy, which, coming out of high school, he was drafted 4th overall in 2021. Pretty much immediately, Chaim Bloom branded him as essentially the second coming of Christ. I mean, that is how they've talked about Marcelo Meyer for years. Yet, there have been some rumblings in the minor leagues that maybe he doesn't play through stuff. Maybe he shuts it down a little bit easy, which wouldn't necessarily be surprising given he's actually never finished a professional baseball season. Most games he's ever played in a professional baseball season is 91, which is, as we all know, just a little bit more than half of a major league season. So here's a guy who hasn't played all that much. It's been well documented on the internet that he and Roman Anthony are out and about. They're meeting ladies. Marcelo Meyer's a beautiful looking man. All right? Beautiful looking man. Beautiful looking ball player, too. Everything's so smooth. His swing is gorgeous. In the field, it's gorgeous. Yet, his minor league statistics aren't all that impressive. They're good, but they're not eye-popping. It doesn't really match the player that you see with your eyes. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Why aren't the results there? And now, all of a sudden, it feels like Alex Cora is calling him out. The guy's basically never played in the big leagues before. Outside of, you want to call it a cup of coffee last year, but this team doesn't have many infielders. Alex Bregman's gone. This feels like, Marcelo Meyer, again, was this 4th overall pick. Now is his time. He's made the big leagues. He's broken in. They're just going to give him the job. And now they're refusing to give him the job, and it feels like they're trying to send him a message. It feels like they're essentially benching him in spring training. Something's not right here. Something's not right, and my antenna's up. And my antenna's been up for about 2 years on Meyer, and I've been saying this for a long time. I've been pounding the table saying he's not a guarantee. He's not a sure thing. There's something not right about this. He doesn't play a lot. He gets hurt. His minor league stats aren't great. There have been some rumblings that maybe he doesn't play through stuff. It feels to me like the Red Sox are trying to wake his ass up, and that's not a good thing. Roman Anthony has undeniably surpassed him, but I'm telling you, watch this. Watch this with Marcelo Meyer. They've obviously seen something this offseason that make them say, oh, we gotta try and wake this kid up and send him a message. I don't like the fact that they're having to send a message to a guy that they once branded essentially as the future of the franchise. This is a real problem. Watch out for this.
So Marcelo Meyer didn't take the Red Sox contract last offseason when they offered it to him.
Interesting.
So how much, that's where I go to first, is that how much of this benching or punishment, whatever you want to call it, how much of that is because he didn't play ball on the contract at the negotiation table? Because last year, Christian Campbell, on the opposite side of that, he played ball, he signed the contract, and he's on the opening day roster. Great first weekend as a big leaguer, and then finds himself back in the minor league system by the end of the year and went down that hole. So, and Roman Anthony ended up signing the contract. He got called up later, though. Same thing with Meyer. Meyer called up later, but never signed the contract. So that's where I first go with this, and I don't know how you really can't go there because the Red Sox have said that, we're full throttle, we're going to pay the money, we're going to do all this. Well, I look at the stats and look at the numbers, and I say, well, yeah, maybe you rank higher enough in terms of the rest of the league in terms of your spending. I believe they're 7th, if I recall correctly. So, okay, that looks good, but you let someone like Alex Bregman walk, who, again, I know I said it before we went to break. A year ago, you were telling me Alex Bregman was influential in the development of Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer and him being there. You traded away Rafael Devers, who was your franchise player, who you paid all that money to. You got rid of him, and it seemed like, at the time, McCarthy, that it was really a move that, okay, maybe you get out the character, but Bregman was going to be here for a while, that he was going to be a long-term answer at third base, and especially as a voice in the clubhouse. You let him walk in free agency? He wanted to be here. He wanted to play for the Red Sox for a long time, and I know he wanted the no trade clause, and there was money involved. I get that. You're the Boston Red Sox. You're one of the best brands in baseball. You should have all the money. John Henry's the wealthiest man, and I feel bad sitting here and saying, why don't you spend money? Because it's not my money. But what are we doing? You own Liverpool. You have all this money, and we're going to sit here and worry about Alex Bregman walking to the effing Chicago Cubs? Are you serious? Come on.
I don't. So listen, it's not. It's never a bad approach to say what are the financial, motives here for the Red Sox. I'd have to do a breakdown on this. I think Meyer would have had enough service time last year to probably, avoid any, overall shenanigans with the service time. I don't know if it necessarily comes down to the fact that he didn't take their crappy contract, kind of like Christian Campbell. I mean, who took the money up front, and that's what the Red Sox want because they want to save money on those arbitration years and get a couple of free agency years bought out. That's what they did with Anthony. It's what they did with Campbell. Meyer did not. My sense is the way they're talking about this, though, it really feels like more of a shot at the player. Maybe the work ethic, that's probably a little unfair to say at this point, but my antenna's up on it. Like, what's the deal with this? And this is just based on some of the rumblings about Meyer in the upper minors, when he had his 3rd straight year when he didn't return after about July, after he, picked up an injury. Somebody suggested to me that, and this is, somebody
who... your Apple Watch going off.
Yeah, I mean, somebody suggested to me, well, I think the Red Sox would be okay if Meyer played through some of this stuff. They'd feel a little better if he were willing to play through some of this stuff. And, did he come into camp out of shape? I don't know. Did he, have an off season, partying it up? Again, good looking dude. He can party with any of them. And there's something not right. Isaiah Kiner Falefa right now is on track to be your starting second baseman on opening day. Not Marcelo Meyer. Well, something's not right here.
I read in the Globe, I believe he's taking exclusive reps at second base, Meyer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So Durbin's going to be their third baseman, which, by the way, is fine. I mean, I'd prefer Meyer in the middle infield. I like that. And, now Romy Gonzalez is hurt. So he, the shoulder injury, they gave him the PRP injection. I think they were thinking, maybe, Meyer's going to platoon with Romy Gonzalez. But at the same time, this is the former 4th overall pick. Now all of a sudden we're talking about him like he's a platoon player. Given the state of their infield, Meyer should have the job, but they don't want to give it to him. Why?
How much of this stems from different front offices? I know the ownership obviously is still the same, and Core's been there, but we're talking there's a different guy in charge now. That they didn't draft him.
So I would say if Breslow isn't a full believer in Meyer, then he should have been traded. They say that the Diamondbacks wanted Meyer in return for Marte. I would have made that deal. Marte is a sure thing. Meyer's not. I mean, Meyer's going to be a big leaguer, but I don't know if he's an impact big leaguer. He's a good fielder, but he doesn't hit for a lot of power, and this is based on the stuff he did in the minors. He's really smooth in the field. He's really good. Second, short, third, doesn't matter where you put him. He's going to be, but there are a lot of utility infielders out there. And he's struggled at times to hit lefties. He's struggled at times to hit breaking balls, and that was his issue when he came up to the big leagues last year. Couldn't hit lefties, breaking balls. I'd have to look at the stats. Didn't feel great just based on what I saw with my eyes. So, ultimately, like, who is he? Like, what is his ceiling? And I mean, Bloom looked at him with rose-colored glasses. I mean, Meyer crapped rainbows in the eyes of Chaim Bloom. So, I mean, again, branded as the second coming. It's, to your point, Jake, it's very possible that this front office feels a little bit differently about Meyer, or they've soured on him a little bit. I mean, obviously they've soured on him a little bit because it sounds like there's a chance he could go to Worcester. I mean, like, because if he's not starting over Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, they're sending him to Worcester. They're not putting him on the bench. So, he's a guy who made the team. I mean, he didn't make the, Bregman got hurt. They brought him up after that, and like he got enough of a cup of coffee. I mean, he should not be sent to Worcester. What the hell is going on here, though? And I'm telling you, there's something not entirely baseball related. There's something in regards to my guess, just based on reading between the lines, attitude, professionalism, maybe a clash, maybe it could be the contract, whatever it is, but something's not right with the Meyer situation.
The other thing that I kind of go back to with this is it's not only the contract, but would they have treated him differently if he played ball? Like, is this all a stimulant of, hey, not only are you not our guy, but you don't want to do things the way we want to do it, so now we're going to try and punish you and see how you react. So, because now also, let's say he performs terrible in the spring and gets sent to Worcester, what's the narrative going to be? Oh, this guy couldn't perform, lazy, whatever the case may be. It's going to be a lot of negative attributes to him. And maybe that's what the Red Sox are doing. And I think at the same time, that could be giving them too much credit because it feels like Breslow and the Red Sox don't have a plan when it comes to their offseason because they have to pivot so many times. They don't fully invest into somebody. So then you end up in a scenario like this where you're now dealing with Marcelo Meyer and saying, oh, yeah, well, you need to do this and you need to work at this and become a better ball player, but you're also not playing ball with us, so kick rocks.
Well, right. So Meyer does need to be a better baseball player. Of course. I mean, he needs to be more of an impact bat. There needs to be a little bit more power. He needs to hit lefties. Yes, I mean, all of those things are true, but that's just an evaluation of a young baseball player. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be those things. Now, I've always had more doubts on Meyer than most people. I've been harder on Marcelo Meyer than most people. I've been pretty consistent on that for a number of years, but the Red Sox, given, to your point, given the way the offseason went, Bregman walks out the door. Tell me right now, Romy Gonzalez is hurt. Tell me right now, Marcelo Meyer is not a top 3 second short third baseman on this team in the organization.
Definitely, without a doubt.
I heard Cora the other day talking about Mikey Romero, who was drafted a year after Meyer. I'm like, that's a shot right there. Like, they're trying to wake him up, or to your point, they're pissed that he wouldn't take the contract. So it's something not baseball related. Take a look at this organization. Tell me Marcelo Meyer is not the best option for this team at second base right now.
I think he is. You got to see what you have at the very least.
Right. I mean, I maybe he's a bust. He might be a bust. I don't rule that out. And again, I've been sounding the bust alarm on Meyer more than most people, but you're telling me that he's not better than Isaiah Kiner-Falefa? I wish, God bless you, I wish Jerry Remy were around to say Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. That we've been robbed of that. Rest in peace, Jerry Remy. But look at the team. Look at the state of this thing. It's obvious. So there's something non-baseball related with Meyer. Keep an eye on it.
Just to circle back to the money aspect too, because again, that's where my head immediately goes with anything Red Sox related. What if the Red Sox looked at the Alex Bregman scenario and said, okay, listen, Meyer didn't play ball with us. We couldn't sign him on the cheap contract, so we're probably going to have to pay him if he performs well. So therefore, we can't afford to pay Bregman. So we have to pivot off of Bregman because we can't afford to pay both these guys.
Yeah, I don't think, that decision on Meyer is 6 years down the road. So I don't think Meyer had much to do with the Bregman decision at all. I mean, obviously it didn't, because I think they might be willing to send the kid to Worcester. I mean, or at least they're trying to wake him up. They've made it very, very, very clear that, like, this is not his job, when the rest of the team, the state of the team, would suggest it should be pretty automatic that it is. Something to watch out for. 617-779-0985. We'll continue. It's Matt McCarthy and Jake Seymour here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Scrub-A-Dub's unlimited car wash plan lets you wash anytime for one low monthly price. Your car will always be Scrub-A-Dub clean.
sure who's going to Cincinnati, but it's close, right? It's just a matter of how we're going to do it. But you see the physicality of Romero. He's stronger than last year. From my end, I want to see him at second base and see how he plays out. Monasterio, great athlete. I had a chance to spend time with Izzy yesterday. We had dinner. He just out. I mean, with JT and Ref and those guys as far as the game. So getting to know them. That's the most important thing. But if we're gonna go player by player, Romero's physicality, he did an amazing job in the offseason, and Monasterio is a guy that in the trade, you see him from afar or whatever, but then you see him here, he's like, oh shoot, he can move, he's versatile, he can hit lefties, he got some pop. Now we have to work with it because I think it's a different mindset offensively to what they do over there to what we do here, that I truly believe that there's more from the three guys, so should be fun.
And you got Alex Cora talking up the likes of Mikey Romero, which is just a sign of something not going the way they wanted to with Marcelo Meyer. I mean, the more you dig into this, the more you realize that this might be a problem. Cora, again, a couple days ago on Meyer. With Marcelo, I said yesterday or 2 days ago, we will give him the baton, but he has to run. If he wants to be the starting second baseman in Cincinnati, there's a lot of work to do. It's not a given that he's the second baseman or third baseman for this team. It's a lot of things that he needs to show us in the spring, and we expect him to do that because he's talented. But at the same time, there are a lot of guys here that can do the job. Oh.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty definitive.
That is right in your face. You are not holding up your end of the bargain. Meyer responded to that, quote, this is from Ian Brown. Asked Meyer if he felt things were trending towards second base for him, given all the workouts there. Quote, I don't know. AC made it clear that I'm still looking for a job, so wherever it is they need me to play, that's what I'm going to do. There's something wrong with that relationship. I mean, that is, that's a shot at the manager there after the manager took a shot at Meyer. Something to watch out for here.
That's ugly, man. That's really, really ugly.
Is it just me, or has this not been discussed enough in recent days? Am I missing something?
No, I haven't heard it. You're the first person I've heard bring it.
Guys, this is a player who is supposed to be the face of the franchise. This is the way he was branded. This is the way he was sold to us. Again, Chaim Bloom talked about him like he was the second coming of Jesus Christ. That is how, he's basically been untradeable. Don't even talk about it. Don't even bring it up. If anybody suggests move on from Meyer and get an established big league player, it's like you say something blasphemous. And yet, Alex Bregman walks out the door. The team has no infield. And Alex Cora is asked, hey, by the way, so is Meyer going to play second or third? And his response is, yeah, maybe neither. He's still got a lot of work to do. He needs to earn his job. We're going to give him the baton. He has to run. Also, I don't even think he's really, they said he needs to hit off the machine at this point. He's coming off this injury, and did they feel like he's just too cool for school? Kind of I'll play when I play kind of thing? Because that's the way he carries himself. That's the way he's always approached it.
He's like your typical California pretty boy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he is.
West Coast style, just go with the flow. Yeah, man.
Man,
I got you, man.
It is what it is. And
if I play, I play, man.
I'm starting to think he's rubbed some people the wrong way because it's not like they have an option. It's Isaiah Kiner Falefa, who, if you watched him in the World Series, is awful. I can't believe they paid that guy $6 million. But you know what? Now I'm realizing they went out and they gave Kiner Falefa $6 million. I'm like, what on earth are they doing? Probably a panic. Meyer probably showed up and they're like, oh crap. No, this kid's he doesn't really give a damn. Something's not right. And again, he was supposed to be, this is a huge story, and I think it should be one of the defining stories of this Red Sox season. This guy who was supposed to be the next big thing, there's an issue between him and the team.
And what's even bigger picture too is what if they decide this guy's an issue, we don't want him, and they trade him, and then he turns out to be really good.
Well, you know
then
what?
Then it's you get front office issues.
At least you'd make the decision. At least you'd have
you made the wrong decision.
guts and some conviction. Just holding on to everybody, which was the Heim Bloom approach, doesn't get you anywhere. I give Breslow a lot of credit. Like, he did trade a lot of prospects this offseason. You have to make the call on these guys. Are they real? Are they the real deal, or are they not? And you have to cash in those chips. You know, Meyer, for a number of years, was a top 10 prospect in baseball. Now, if you pay attention, he's kind of fallen down those lists because I think word's starting to get out on him. His stock's gone down in recent, like, if you've really paid attention to it in prospect circles. You know, Anthony surpassed him in what year was Anthony drafted? 2023, I think. Anthony surpassed him then. It's like, okay, well, no, that's a Roman Anthony thing. Well, yeah, but it also has to do with the fact that Meyer's fallen down. You know, then Meyer didn't finish 2023. There was some, you know, buzz that, you know, he might not have, you know, really played through some stuff. Like, over the last 2 years, if you've really followed his stock closely instead of just jumping to the, well, it's Marcelo Meyer, he's a big deal, he's a prospect. Like, if you've really paid attention to it, he's starting to dip a little bit.
So what if all this is just because who's going to leak that? Who's going to talk bad about him? It's going to be the team, right? Because he's the only person or the only entity that he's performing in front of is the Boston Red Sox team, scouts, whatever the case may be, front office. So if they're all in the circles talking, oh yeah, Meyer's been kind of down, he hasn't looked too good. That's all stuff they're going to say to him in the negotiation table. Hey man, you're not looking too good. Look at how far you're falling. Like, you're not. Yeah, I know. We know you think you're top 10, and we think that you can get there. But right now, you're listed at 43rd, and you're not where you were 4 years ago. Maybe this is why you should have taken the contract first time. But we're trying to do you a favor and sign it right now, and we'll secure it all up, and you can be at Boston Red Sox for the next 6 years. What if all this is just part of that contract negotiation and the mind games that they have to play because he wouldn't play ball last season?
I mean, listen, Jake. I mean, you've been on it for the last 20 minutes,
and I don't want. I feel bad because I'm like beating the horse on that. No. But like that's how it is.
No, you should. I mean, so it's my gut says it's a little bit more. This is a little bit more attitude related, professionalism. You know, showing up to camp ready to go. Is baseball the most important thing to you type of thing? Or, you know, are you more interested in going out and chasing people kind of thing? Like that's more my sense with this. But with the Red Sox, you know, with the contract stuff, I don't rule that out.
You know, when you're buying a car, right, and you go to the salesman, you're going to be like, oh, you know, there's a little scratch right here, and don't worry about that. When you're trading in the car, right, don't worry about the check engine light. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. No. That's what the Red Sox are doing at the negotiation table.
I mean, hey, you know, look away. Bregman's not here. I mean, well, he didn't want to be here. Don't you understand? 617-779-0985. I don't rule any of that out, Jake. I don't. Jim in the car. Hi, Jim.
Thanks for taking the call. Regarding Marcelo Meyer, this is the year. He's got to stay healthy. I don't know if he's going to learn to hit lefties, but I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic he's going to perform better. Supposedly put on 12 pounds. If he can learn to hit off the wall, I think he's going to shore up the defense. They had the worst defense in the league last year, so hopefully there can be some stability. He'll probably sit him against lefties.
Jim, I'm with you on that. He is a sure thing in the field. He is so smooth. And at the plate, it's a beautiful swing, but the minor league results have never really been there. The power is not where you want it to be for a guy. You know, we were told he was Corey Seager. He might be Stephen Drew.
Yeah, man.
And by the way, Stephen Drew was a good player, but he was smooth in the field, had a nice swing. So
yeah. He wasn't the second coming of Christ.
Well, I mean, J.D. Drew was supposed to be. Like, Marcelo Meyer might be that. He might be. You know, but J.D. Drew was a guy, everything was beautiful, but it just didn't all add up. There are guys like that. Meyer might be that. Keep an eye out for it. Morgan in Saugus. Hi, Morgan.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
I'm kind of convinced that John Henry is expecting there to be a salary cap for the next CBA, and all the guys that already have big contracts are going to be grandfathered in. So that's why he's not giving out any big money right now.
Without a doubt, Morgan, and I'll let you go on that. It's Henry wants a salary cap. He's pushed for it. We'll see if baseball ends up having the cap.
It's just so sad that he's pushing for it.
I agree, because he has an advantage. I hate that.
An advantage. You have Fenway Park. You're the Boston Red Sox. Like, you feel like you sound like a broken record. You keep saying it, but it's the truth. The only thing that you have that say like the Dodgers have is the contract, the cable contract right now, the RSN rights. But you own your RSN. You're still making the money.
I do wonder how the Tony Clark thing is going to affect that. Did you see that this week?
I did, yeah.
Did we find out if it's his brother's wife or his wife's sister? The sister-in-law?
Nothing's came out on that since then. That's a messy situation.
That's the real story. Would you, not to say is it better or worse, but like, what's the worst situation? Brother's wife or wife's sister?
Oh man, that's tough. That you're in crap either way.
Oh no, I know.
You're in deep crap. The only thing you can hope for in that situation is that there's a blizzard that has like the inverse effect.
Now I want to make something very clear. Both are bad. The brother's wife thing is even worse.
I think it's got to be that because
that's your brother, man. Colin?
USA Today said it was his wife's sister.
Oh.
That's bad.
Oh, no, that's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. But I think brother's wife is worse.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be brother's wife, right?
I mean, you
Probably
can't.
worse.
I'm not saying,
you're kind of like splitting hairs, though, to be fair.
I mean, you are. Like, both are really bad. Don't get me wrong. But, like, man, that's your brother's wife. That's like, you have to. And if you have a divorce, right? You have a divorce, maybe you don't have to deal with those people. That's your brother, man. That's your brother.
Yeah.
If it's your
at least
sister,
like if it's the sister, maybe the sister's wife, at least maybe, or the wife's sister. I mean, at least maybe there's only one marriage that gets destroyed. When you do it to your brother's wife, you're definitely destroying two marriages.
Yeah, it's not great.
So I guess the aftermath of the family is a lot worse.
Well, right.
But how's Christmas dinner going to be?
Well, no, I mean the wife's sister. That's nuclear. Don't get me wrong. None of this is good, but I'm not saying you don't have to deal with that anymore. But like once that mess is cleaned up, and hopefully she gets everything in that regard. Don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, you don't have to deal with the nuclear family fallout of that.
You're not going to have to look at her and say, "Can you pass me the jam on Thanksgiving dinner?"
Yeah. So, hey, bro. Yeah.
What's up, brother?
That's not great. So his wife's sister, huh? USA Today. I'm glad somebody finally got to the bottom of that.
That was the important question.
That really was the important question. News on Jason Tatum that we have to get to. We'll get to that next.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
L&F is a veteran-owned company offering premier services such as heat pumps, generators, car charger installs, panel upgrades, and more. Call 844-LF-WISE or visit lfelectralservice.com.
Whether I'm heading to a game, the airport, or out with friends, to get where I need to be in comfort and style, I rely on the pros at A Plus Coach. Anthony and his team at A Plus Coach offer world-class personal transportation services with the best fleet of luxury vehicles anywhere in Massachusetts, all at an affordable price. Next time you're heading to a game, heading to Logan like I do, or heading to Boston for a night out, leave the driving to A Plus Coach. For reservations and more, visit apluscoach.com or call 781-THE-LIMO. That's apluscoach.com or 781-THE-LIMO. And to get the best rate, tell them so sent you.
I'm Jen Harper, the founder of Cheekbone Beauty. We grew the brand to like $1 million from a corner of my basement. I don't feel like I'm technology savvy whatsoever, but companies like Shopify exist, so you can literally build a website in an evening. I really look at it like the sort of the level of the playing field, and Shopify just made it like foolproof. It was so easy. I don't think I could ever go work for anyone else ever again. We're Cheekbone Beauty and we're powered by Shopify.
Hey, it's Hardy. I got a question. Is your attic insulation as old as your home? It's probably time to upgrade. Call my friends at Revise, a Mass Save partner. They'll do a no-cost home energy assessment where you could get 75 to 100% off approved insulation and air sealing improvements. Why wait? Schedule your no-cost home energy assessment with Revise today. Visit callrevise.com or call 800-885-SAVE. That's callrevise.com or 800-885-SAVE.
For over 37 years, College Heights has been Boston's go-to for high-quality
call it a saga, but it's starting to get there.
We have a documentary. It's a saga.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to hype up to be. So Skaz and I have talked about this on the Green Teamers podcast extensively since the offseason because, of course, it's been the biggest storyline for the Celtics in years. When is Jason Tatum going to come back? How will he look? All that's been incredibly important to talk about. And the thing that I said to Skaz is, I'm not going to sit here and tell you if he is or is not coming back at this point. I know the games were flexed at the start of March, and there was another one a week after. So, sure, all the signs are pointing toward Tatum potentially coming back. But if you're a TV executive, wouldn't you want all of these games flexed in the event that he comes back, right? So, I don't know if he's coming back, but this comment, he's still open to returning or sitting out. He said both options were still on the table. Again, he was asked that, and he said, yeah. That was a good way to characterize it. That's I'm sorry? That was the message that we got from this, is that Tatum is still open to either sitting out or returning. I get it. You don't want to say, hey, I'm coming back March 8th or March whatever, because you don't want to put that definitive date on it. I understand that. But if you were definitely coming back and that was still a goal of yours, wouldn't you come out for the fans' sake and say, I definitely want to come back, and my goal is to come back, and I'm working toward it?
There's no reason to not say at some point, like, yes, I'm returning at some point. Like, I'm returning at some point this year, because that's obviously what they've been trending towards, is what they've been pushing towards. And yeah, there is no reason to say that unless you need footage for your documentary where you're now in the self-doubt phase, and then you're going to overcome it, and it's going to be the grand return. I mean, you need the story arc.
Yeah. And speaking of that, Colin, Tatum 4, sorry, I know I asked you to bring up Tatum 2, but there's Tatum 4, he had said about what it's like him, potentially going through this. I don't know if you had that pulled out. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're close, and how realistic is it at this point that you can get back this year?
I think it's just important that I've, worked this hard to just kind of get myself in a position where it could be a conversation. And,
I'm sorry. Stop there. It could be a conversation? It could be a conversation, Tatum. Really. This is where we're going with this now. It could be a conversation for you to come back. Sorry, you can play that game. I just needed to interject there because
I think we've done a really good job of that thus far.
A conversation. We've worked this hard for it to be a conversation. Come on. You're either 100% in or you're not. And either way, like, I'm not dogging on him to say he has to come back this year. I just want the transparency. Stop playing these games and going back and forth on it.
Why do you think he's playing these games? What's your sense?
Well,
is it real legitimate uncertainty, or is he playing it up?
So I thought it was real when I heard the podcast clips. I was very shocked when he was on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, and he detailed about how difficult it could be with the identity and potentially working through some of those things. I thought that was real. Now, Mazzulla said on interview with Grandy on our pregame show, on the Celtics Radio Network, that we have to maybe be a little more tolerable about what players say on these podcasts, and Tatum kind of backtracked those comments saying that he was being vulnerable. So, I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to take from that. On one hand, I'm saying the players on the podcast, I'm listening to his thoughts and his open discussion for him, and then I'm also being told I need to be second guess about those conversations. Like, come on, you can't have it both ways.
Well, I mean, I think that's a dodge from Mazzulla at that
It's got to be,
yeah,
right?
I mean, yes, like, we're not supposed to take anything the guy says seriously. Okay, all right, never mind. We won't. Yep, anything he says seriously, good or bad, we won't pay attention to. I mean, come on. That's obviously not the way that that this works, which leads me to the thought that, like, yeah, they're playing it up, and he's playing it up for the cameras at this point. Like, once you introduce the documentary element to it, that changes everything. Because I heard the comments on the Pivot podcast, and I said, you know what, like, I really appreciate this. This is an athlete.
Thank you. I said the same thing.
This is an athlete expressing uncertainty. Like, he is a human being. Like, all of these guys are human beings. Like, I loved, I talked about it earlier, the sports psychology of Alyssa Liu's performance in the free skate. Like, it was awesome. It was awesome to watch. Like, how you approach things, and you're a human being. And it was just like, I just think there's so many, factors. And I heard Tatum talk about it so openly, and I loved it. And now I'm thinking, like, oh, wait a minute. There's a documentary. There's a camera crew following him around. It changes everything. It's not as authentic. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's coming back. He's coming back.
You'd hope so.
I'm convinced of it. You're not coming back. Once you start promoting the documentary, which they have, I mean, there's a reason why the news is out there about it. He's coming back. And I think, I'll be honest, I think it's kind of a dog and pony show at this point.
So Mazzulla said today, from Bobby Manning, he tweeted this out. Joe Mazzulla said Jason Tatum was at practice yesterday, but wouldn't answer when asked if he participated in any of it. So now we're playing this game. He was there, but we're not going to talk about what he participated in. Come on.
Yeah.
Celtics official team account posted photos of the practice in San Francisco this past week, and he was not in any of those. And then they had their own special little post for Jason Tatum, and they put photos of him. It looked like he was doing some 5-on-5 work, which he confirmed, but wouldn't say he was practicing with the team. It was like some of the players. Again, you just got to be, they're going to be cryptic and very secretive about this, and I understand it. They want to be very careful how they handle it, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, transparency goes a long way in these scenarios.
Yeah, so it's one thing to be transparent. It's another thing to be, again, on the promotion and brand train. And that's kind of where we're at with Jason Tatum. And now you're going to, again, I think they're trying to build up as much uncertainty as possible to have, Tatum have his triumphant moment coming back, which is kind of gross to me. It's just, the moment itself should be triumphant enough as it is. We don't need the documentary to make it any more amazing that he's coming back from a torn Achilles. That's really hard. That's really, really hard. Like, I mean, I know athletes make it look easy, but I'm sure it isn't. But we don't now need the Celtics, saying, well, we're going to be, coy about what he's doing, to build some level of drama for his return. I just, and this comes more from Tatum than it does from the Celtics, which would be my attitude with this.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the documentary because I want to see the behind the scenes of it. Mm-hmm. But when Amica Insurance tweets out, every setback has a comeback. We're proud of our brand partner, Jason Tatum, for all his hard work on his road to recovery. At Amica Insurance, we understand what it takes to make a comeback. And attached is a minute-long trailer to this documentary.
It's like a movie.
Which is like a movie. It's not really a documentary the way that this perceives it. So, again, I don't know what this whole thing is. It makes you concerned about what is really going to happen.
You ever seen A Christmas Story?
Yeah.
Where Ralphie opens up a crummy commercial? That's what it's become. We'll wrap the show up next. We'll get you ready for Grandy and Max.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Tune in to the BetMGM Celtics Radio Network. BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and discover the new look same-game parlay product, live bet tracking, parlay quick betting, and more. Please gamble responsibly.
Electric bills keep climbing and New England homeowners feel it every month. And that's why more people are turning to Devlin Energy, the region's trusted leader in solar installation and service. From brand new residential solar and